Long Qingxie looks at the sneer of Cloud Dance's mouth, and the evil smile appears in his eyes. This is his woman, who has the same bloodthirsty nature as him. Only they can understand each other's thoughts and experience each other's pain. So who can be more suitable for them than the other? Some of the dark faces of the man in black were blue, and veins were springing up. Blood vessels were clearly visible, as if they would burst in the next second. Ask the king of hell. Suddenly, the man in black suddenly jumped up in the air and drew out his sword from his waist. A long sword was full of black light, and 7 steps of fighting came to the cloud dance. There was a cold light in Yunwu's eyes. She knew that there was a black flame sword on her head, but she didn't see it. She didn't mean to hide. Green level talent, 7th level warrior. This strength is not bad, but the person who can enter the inner magic feather forest of the college is absolutely impossible only by this strength. So she decided there must be someone behind him, and that person is in the forest. Cloud danced. The smile of the corner of the mouth congeals, but let a person look a little heartless creepy. Since the man didn't want to show up, she didn't mind helping him show up. Long Qingxie glared at the black flames around the flying sword, and a trace of meditation passed at the bottom of his eyes. When the long sword was about to pierce the cloud dance, the corner of the mouth of the man in black showed a proud and murderous cruelty, and his eyes were full of pride. Bang! With a dull sound, the earth gave out a dull roar, and the whole forest was shaken 3 times. The dust was flying, and the leaves were flying. It seemed that even the air had condensed for a moment. After everything calms down, the purple figure still stands in the gray sky, with a smile on the corner of his mouth, looking at the dragon in the distance. She was surrounded by her own light, cold and pure, and there was a trace of warmth in her bloodthirsty eyes because she was looking at him, and her strong sense of killing faded a lot in the moment when her eyes were opposite, and she recovered her former indifference. The man in black was lying on the ground, motionless. Around him, there was a pit as if the ground had sunk. The pit was 5 meters big, which was amazing, and the man in black nests in the middle of the pit, which is so small at this moment. The man in black's fingers moved, and his red eyes were shocked. He was a 7-level warrior, and he was defeated with only 1 blow. Seems to have no strength to climb. The strength of this woman really like the master said the same adverse. Who is your master? I don't want to ask again. Yunwu walked down the pit. The mud floating in the pit stained her purple clothes, but could not dye her cold. The man in black raised his eyes and looked at the commanding cloud dance. He was shocked by her severe cold. This is like his 2 peas, the shiver all over though not cold, and the same breath of death. Master. The eyes of the man in black were so confused for a moment, and he looked at the cloud dance and called out unconsciously. Quack! Cloud dance, suddenly a lung. The killing intention on the body suddenly subsides. The pair of cool eyes inside flit a trace of doubt. When did she get a valet? Cloud dance, tiny narrow eyes. A pair of deep eyes glare at the person in black. Eyes complex 100 turn. Then a face cold way, your master is me. After hearing this, the man in black was slightly stunned, and his eyes of surprise and fear were staring at her for a moment. Then his eyebrows were lowered, and he glanced at the cloud dance in disgust and hummed coldly, no. Yunwu's face suddenly turned black. She kicked the man in black to the other end of the pit, and the dust suddenly flew in disorder again. She walked towards the man in black step by step, and looked at him coldly. What are you barking about? The man in black covered his chest with a breath, puffed out a mouthful of blood, dyed as black, and penetrated into the soil. Looking at the cloud dance approaching him like death, I was afraid to take a step backward. Dragon Qingxia's mouth was raised, and his eyes were helpless. If he said yes, it was estimated that this woman would let him go. Now he said no, I guess I'll die. Long Qingxia will look at her, deep eyes a touch of meditation flash. This woman is to have a decent attendant. Kill if you want. The man in black looked at the cloud dance close at hand. His fierce eyes closed slightly, as if he was ready to die. Yunwei is stunned. The way he died reminds her of Tulong. I don't know if he is trying to break through his own strength now, but she is still waiting for his strength to reach her expectation, and then make friends with her. Finally, she wants to enter Tulong just like her own home, thinking of the result. There was a light between her eyebrows. This result is very good. The man in black seemed to have been waiting for a century, and his heart trembled with fear before he died. A quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. But he didn't see Yunwu start. He couldn't help opening his eyes again. Looking at Yunwu's still bloodthirsty eyes, he roared angrily. "What do you want?" Cloud Dance was pulled back by his roar. Willow, eyebrow low, eyes swept a trace of puzzled. He so hysterical roar. "Why? Do you like animals?" "I want to kill you." The clouds are dancing. The corners of the mouth are sharp. The eyes are dark. The wind element reappears. The soil is flying. The remnant leaves are flying. And a whirlpool force is gradually formed. At the moment when the wind element surrounded the man in black, suddenly, there was a loud noise behind her. There was a huge force behind the loud noise, so she had to stop. She dodged into the whirlpool of the wind element and flew up in the air. Her body is in the element of wind. The green silk is scattered at will. The purple clothes are dancing. The indifferent eyes are as clean as ice, and the sickly white mask condenses her coldness, which makes her not lose half of her color because of that face. Long Qingxia looks at the cloud dancing in the air, and her eyes are burning hot with a trace of aggression, a trace of possession, a trace of hegemony. For a moment, he didn't want anyone to see her. He just wanted her to live under his own wings. Cry for him because he laughs, weep for him because his heart is broken. Only for him. Suddenly, he looked at the figure. The corner of his mouth slightly outlined a helpless, lonely smile. She is a phoenix flying 9 days. She belongs to the whole sky, not just to one person one day. When she tramples the sky under her feet, she belongs to him alone. Yunwu seems to feel the hot, but lonely look behind him. He frowns slightly and looks back at the dragon. He looks evil and picks her eyebrows. He does not forget to throw a wink. Yunwu looked at him as if nothing had happened. He was as flat as before. He didn't say anything. He just glared at him and drew back his eyes, but there was an imperceptible complexity in his eyes. Then she returned to her former indifference and looked at the place not far away where there was a loud noise. There was a huge force hidden in the loud noise. Although a moment later, there was still drowning in the state of dancing and flying. After a long time, the sight could be seen clearly. The maple leaves on the tree are still falling. It seems that they've been impacted by the loud noise just now. The residual maple leaves rotate back and forth in the air. Suddenly, Cloud Dance eyes AMI. A careful look, fall of maple leaf seems to have become half. The cut marks are neat, without any defect. Before the loud sound, she did not find any abnormality in the forest, nor did she feel an unusual breath. All the discoveries came from the loud noise, and the power of darkness was only felt after the loud noise. Suddenly, there was a trace of surprise in those indifferent eyes. Were these maple leaves cut off by the power after the loud noise? Just a residual wave can be so adverse? The dragon's evil eyes narrowed and looked at the place where the sound was loud. A deep light passed from the bottom of his eyes. He was familiar with the smell of darkness and evil. Did you find anything? Dragon Qingxia walked forward a few steps, looking at the cloud dance in the wind element, calmly asked. Yunwu takes back the elements of wind, looks at the dragon, and looks at the distance. No, but the smell is different from that in the black fog just now. The breath just now is just suffocating, but this time it reveals the destruction of aggression and phagocytosis. Dragon Qing, evil mouth a yong, nod, eyes inside the condensation of a touch of evil. Look back to Cloud Dance way. Let's go. Cloud Dance nods. A trace of worry passes through the eyes. If this phagocytic power is completely distributed, here is their eternal destination. Before leaving, Yunwu looked back at the location of the hidden space. Long Qingxia also glanced at the cloud and said, "Don't worry, it's safe there." Maybe Yunwu didn't feel the breath there, but he did. In addition to the breath of Zhou Feiyu, there was the breath of Nanganji and Shangwan. The three of them together should be safer than the two of them. No, it should be said that Shangguan is safer with them than with them. Yunwu once again glanced at the strange smile in his eyes, and his face suddenly turned black. This guy always had a hidden appearance, and his behavior and attitude were more and more unpredictable. They walked towards the loud noise, completely ignoring the dying man in black in the pit. After hearing the loud noise, the man in black has a light on his eyes. After seeing them leave, a gloomy and strange smile appears. Stepping on the dusty and messy maple leaves in the wind, they gradually approached the messy place. One in white swayed in the wind, like a fairy, but with a trace of evil. One is dressed in purple, just like 9 days, but with a trace of repulsive bloodthirsty. They are so similar in their manners, just like a couple of gods, with a cold, bloodthirsty, and arrogant attitude. The cloud dances to a messy forest and looks at the tree trunk cut off by the sharp breath. There is a dense black fog all around. The green grass on the ground is also surrounded by the black air. There is a little shock in the eyes. Who is the one who makes this power? Can you tell who did it? Cloud Dance lifted Mao to see a dragon to pour evil nearby. Tiny CU eyebrow. Long Qingxia looked at the place that had been swept by the breath and turned black. His eyes were dark, but his mouth was smiling. I thought it was the ghost of the Beast Gate. Was it my wrong guess? Cloud Dance's tiny frown. I also think is 10,000 Beast Door due. The smell is similar to that of Mo Bai, but now it's different. It's darker than that of Mo Bai, or even Mo Yebing. This should be a kind of power possessed by the demons in their lineage, magic bite. Long Qingxia glanced at the degree of damage around him, put his head on Yunwu's shoulder, and said happily, "Evil bite." Cloud Dance's eyes flit over a trace of doubt. Lift eyes to look at the shoulder of dragon. Qing, evil want to say what, just didn't say. At this time, the tornado seems to have some reaction, but it's just a little reaction. There's no information about magic bite. The records of magic bite should be on other fragments of the tornado. Well, if you're right, the son of the demon's magic heaven should have been released. Long Qingxia nodded, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Seeing that Yunwu didn't push him away, he took the opportunity to grab her waist and hold her in his arms. But there was an undercurrent in the bottom of his eyes. Could it be? Cloud Dance raises Mao to look at the top of the head dragon to pour evil. Eyebrow tip a pick. Mo Bai's appearance can't be a coincidence. He must have some purpose. And what can make him go out must be to see big things. For example, devil. A pair of hands as if nothing had happened slide in her smooth back. Cloud Dance has been thinking about the magic day. The mind is not in that pair of hands swimming around. Dragon Qingxia's eyes are a trace of evil, and the corners of his mouth outline a perfect radiant. This little thing is really terrible when it's serious. No, there is no such possibility. If so, what are you going to do? Long Qingxia looks down at the person in his arms. The smile of his mouth is like a touch of sunshine, illuminating the dark forest. Cloud Dance micro frown, a cluster of flame burning in the eye bottom. Meet the dragon's eyes, word by word. Chop his hand first. Long Qingxia nodded, with an evil smile in the corner of his eyes. The action on his hand still didn't stop. He attached it to her ear and said, "It's too cheap for him to cut off his hand. It's better to kill him 10 times. Yunwu's face suddenly changed, and he growled, "Dragon, take your hand away." This guy's playing dumb with her here. Dragon Qing, evil mouthy Yang. Extremely evil face line flexibility. Black ink like crystal bright eyes is her sullen face. Originally you found it. He conceals the smile that the corner of the mouth expands ceaselessly. Looking at her slightly angry eyes, the rascal's attachment is at her neck. Yunwu sighed deeply. Well, she compromised again. Well, she's still better than his rascal. Can you see what's going on? Yunwu's face darkened, and a trace of worry and indifference appeared in her eyes. Long Qingxia took back his restless hand, and he didn't forget to pinch her. He put away a ruffian look. Looking not far away, his eyes flashed by. "It's time to come." Cloud Dance heard his words, body is stiff. Looking at his evil eyes or looking at the front, and then turned in his arms, looking at the direction he looked at. A thin and delicate young man came into her eyes, which was the first impression of that young man. The boy's black hair is messy. Under the cover of messy hair, he has a gray face, delicate face. Wearing a ragged coarse cloth clothes, he looks weak and thin. Yunwoo looks at the boy, and a trace of surprise passes through his eyes. The boy has a pair of clear eyes, extremely pure, not installed, but the depth of the eyes is like an endless dark abyss. She had never experienced such a strange feeling. It was so helpless, pure and innocent, but it made people feel so cold and dark. Is he the devil? Cloud Dance's suddenly surprised voice, looking back to see to dragon poor evil. Long Qingxia Chimu a smile, mouth slightly a yawn, raised her chin charm way. My woman is really smart. Cloud Dance a slap, opened his hand, cold white he one eye. This guy is no longer than a little finger when he's serious. How could he have such pure eyes? Cloud Dance looks at the devil's sky, like talking to himself, and like asking the dragon to pour evil. Long Qingxia glanced at the devil, his eyes narrowed, and his mouth showed a smile that was hard to guess. This is not his original nature, but his present nature. After spending so long in this Moyu forest, the demons have been purified. The cloud dances, the eyes pass a sneer. No wonder she always felt that his eyes were a little confused and helpless. It seemed that while purifying the demons, her mind and memory were baptized. At this time, the devil is lowering his head, looking at the underground with a confused face. Cloud Dance Willow, eyebrow low, don't know what he is looking at there, looking so ecstatic. Suddenly, Yunwishin looked at the place where the devil looked and caught a glimpse of a black figure. Looking at the familiar face, she was suddenly surprised. It's Lu Bai. At this time, Lu Bai fell into a pile of messy maple leaves, and the spots on the maple leaves were all bloodstains. His clothes were ragged, and there was a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. A white and beautiful face was as white as a piece of paper. Long Qingxia naturally noticed him. Somehow, a sharp and deep feeling passed through his smiling eyes. Only Demon Tianjing looked at him for a moment, and occasionally raised his foot to kick him. He didn't have any reaction. There was a giggle in the corner of his mouth, and there was no expression in his gaunt face. Cloud Dance looks at Lu Bai, who can't stand on the ground, and her eyes are slightly narrowed. After the selection contest, he has been in the Moyu forest? Do you want to know what's going on? Long Qingxia looks at Meng Tian and Lu Bai, with a smile that even Cloud Dance can't see through. It's a mysterious smile, as unpredictable as a deep pool, with too many chilling coldness in it. Long Qingxia let go of the Cloud Dance, said something in her ear, and walked calmly toward the devil's sky. How does it feel to kill? Long Qingxia stands opposite the devil's day, with a smile on his lips. Magic Day heard someone speak. Dull, confused eyes flash for a while, and then slightly raised eyes to see the dragon. It's also a look of helplessness, confusion, and emptiness. Ferris looks at the dragon, tilts his head slightly, wrinkles his forehead, and then looks disappointed. His eyes drop, and he looks at Lu Bai again. Devil, he's still alive. You didn't kill him. Did you miss it? Long Qingxia has been looking at him with a smile, and his tone is more sharp and ironic. In the eyes of outsiders, he is just talking to a person who is no different from a child, and is doomed not to get the result that he wants to provoke him. But he is not a child after all. Suddenly, a blood-thirsty rage appeared in the eyes of Demon Heaven. In the blink of an eye, the rage disappeared, as if it were just a moment's illusion. This touch of abnormality, Dragon Qing, evil see abnormal clear. And Cloud Dance, which is a long distance away from them, also finds the anger in his eyes. Looking at him for a moment to restore the confused and hazy look, a cold smile appeared in the corner of Cloud Dance's mouth, and the light in the eyes was gradually replaced by the cold. Oh! Long Qingxia's low voice put on a smile of disdain. Do you plan to go on like this all the time? Suddenly, the devil Sky fiercely raised his eyes and looked at the dragon. A pair of pure and confused eyes were dark black. The blood-thirsty anger in his eyes made people shudder. The next second, the anger disappeared, the dark black eyes returned to normal color, and a trace of pain appeared in his eyes. He curled up on the ground with his head in pain. His haggard face turned pale, and his mouth kept repeating, I'm not. Seeing his reaction, Long Qingxie seems very satisfied. The sneer at the corner of his mouth converges, and then he turns to Yunwu. His evil eyes look at Yunwu with enchantment. Then he blinks at her, and suddenly gets goosebumps from Yunwu. Yunwu looks at his warm smile like spring breeze, with a trace of evil taste, plus a beautiful face. It must be said that it's really provocative. Suddenly, a gloomy breath suddenly came from behind the dragon. Little. Just when Long Qingxie looks back and the cloud dance doesn't shout out, the body of Long Qingxie is instantly hit by a touch of gloomy black air. The white figure was hit by a fatal blow in an instant, and the body hit the big trees one by one. Big trees were knocked into a row by his body. Suddenly, maple leaves were all over the sky, and the sound of impact was constantly ringing. In the hazy, the white figure seemed to have no consciousness, just like a dead object without feeling, which was played at will. Yunwu looks at the white figure like a discarded doll. Her heart is pulled fiercely, and the dull hum made by the collision with the trees is like a hammer beating her heart in her heart. Suffocate violently to the pain that cannot breathe. Suddenly, in a moment of strong wind, the purple shadow picked up the white figure and pulled him out in the irresistible dark atmosphere. Poof! Cloud Dance pulled out the dragon to pour evil moment, fiercely sprayed a mouthful of blood, because being engulfed by black breath, her mouth corner is still twitching now. Long Qingxie, wake up! Cloud Dance does not care about his injury. Pull up the dragon on the ground to hold evil in his arms, tearing cry. Somehow, she felt a sense of weakness. The bottom of my heart is shaking. Dragon, wake up! Looking at Long Qingxie's white face, she can't help the pain with a low roar, and her hoarse voice cries powerlessly. A drop of tears, along her indifferent eyes across her cool face, dripping on his face. I'll count to 3. If you don't wake up, I'll kill him. Cloud Dance looked at motionless. Even the breath is extremely weak. Dragon Qing, evil low roar. Isn't he the one who loves to show off? Isn't she the most afraid of being hurt? What about now? She's going to fight a man who has no chance of winning. Should he wake up and stop her? A quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, he was still motionless. The cloud dances the Mao light to flash, whisks the palm of the hand. Want to lose own spirit power to return the dragon to poor evil. Girl, you must not forget that you are mutually exclusive at this time. Bai Lao's urgent thought stopped Yunwu's action. He felt that Yunwu was suffering from heartbreaking pain, and then he woke up in his deep sleep. What about that? She looks at the dragon to pour evil. The past calm completely disappears. This demon bite is the power of the real blood of the demon clan thousands of years ago. He would have been killed immediately if he was hit by a fatal blow, but I also felt the sound of breathing on him. There should be no danger to his life. The most urgent thing is to leave here quickly, or you will be killed too. By Lao's words, Yunwu only heard one sentence. Should not be life-threatening suddenly. She put the dragon on the ground, and the pain and fear in her eyes gradually faded away. The bloodthirsty and cold purple eyes slowly emerged, and the purple eyes were still full of blood-red light. Just as she was about to get up and leave, her hand was suddenly caught by a cold hand. Although the hand didn't use much strength to hold her, she suddenly stopped, and a trace of joy appeared in her purple eyes. In an instant, she looked back at the dragon. Little thing, you dare to go to hell. Believe it or not, I ate you. Long Qingxie's pale mouth outlines a pale smile and is looking at the cloud dance for a moment. He felt the cool object on his cheek. His heart ached. He made her cry and worried her. Cloud Dance grins, looking at his still ruffian rascal smile, and finally realized the feeling that the heart is dead and can come back to life. She helped him up and leaned on her. The blood red in her purple eyes had disappeared. At this time, the Devil's Day returned to its confused appearance. "How do you feel?" Cloud danced worried, looking at him. "Just know, originally she will be so fragile." Long Qingxie stroked her cheek and looked at a tear mark on her cheek. There was a trace of gloom in her eyes. She gave a gloomy glance at the devil sky in the distance. "Chest pain is not hurt the heart?" Long Qingxie arched her arms, some wronged, some innocent fingers to her chest. Cloud danced see him to her arms arch, very cooperate to pull him hard, pull him into his arms, and then untie his skirt, check his chest. Her cool fingers stroked her chest back and forth, and her body, which was still chilly, was now hot. That touch is the collision between icebergs and volcanoes, the intersection of the Yangtze River and the Yellow River, and the incarceration that people cannot escape. "Here? Or here?" Cloud danced according to his chest, tentatively asked, unaware of the change of the people in his arms. Cold fingertips across his hot chest. That touch of crisp numbness let him almost lost feeling. Let him can't help but take a breath. This shocked Cloud dance quickly took back his hand. Thought it was stabbing him. "Does it hurt?" She didn't know what to ask. "It hurts," he answered sincerely. "Where does it hurt?" She touched his chest again. The dragon tilts evil to support the body. The evil Mao Sun is suffused with smile idea, attaching her ear to whisper, "Shameless." Cloud dance face, embarrassed, a touch of scarlet surface. A push him on the ground. Strength is extremely gentle. She couldn't understand why every time he dug a hole, she could jump one by one. Finally, only by the cool and eat tofu share. Dragon Qing, evil mouth a yang. Stand up, pale mouth corner already restored some blood color. Evil eyes pass a trace of gloomy. "How can you be okay?" There was a doubt in Yunwu's eyes. "I don't understand why he recovered so fast. Didn't Bai Lao say it was a fatal blow? Because I know you are not willing to do something for my husband." Dragon Qing, evil ruffian a smile, the corner of the mouth with a bright smile, only to her. Looking at her strange purple eyes, Long Qingxie hugs her in his arms and holds her tightly. This woman is always so desperate that she moves him too much. The only thing he can do is to cherish her with all his love and life. There is no way out. "Leave the rest to me." Dragon Qing evil attached to her ear, ambiguous as silk said. In the magic day that hit, he has been watching the clouds. People's reaction and speaking speed is different. The fastest is the reaction. He saw a trace of panic and surprise in her reaction before she could export it. At that moment, he created the space boundary defense. At the same moment, the space boundary was destroyed and he was beaten away. But fortunately, most of the power was borne by the space barrier. He just suffered a little internal injury. Because of the internal injury, he can't resist the aftereffect of the evil bite. So he can only let the force push and strike and make the space boundary again, while the internal breathing is a little better. The second border was forced, and he couldn't resist it anymore. Who knows that this little thing actually ignored the aftershocks and fished him out at the risk of his life. Otherwise, he would not die, and he would have to go through a pain of debonding. Cloud Dance raises Pupil Mao in his arms. Pupil Mao is suffused with a touch of bloodthirsty chili. "You are not allowed to interfere. I come by myself." Dragon Qing, evil, sword eyebrow low, double eyes flit a silk deep. "I know." Cloud Dance comes out of his arms and interrupts his words. The purple pupil is full of cunning light. Only the ghosts can meet with him. There is a saying that it's called the war of subduing people without fighting. Long Qingxia looked at her with a smile and suddenly leaned on a tree in pain. "Ouch, chest pain, madam. The next thing is for you." The cloud dances to wheeze a smile. The corner of the mouth outlines a smile that is more shining than the star. Purple figure messy in the wind. The maple leaf seems to do a foil. That touch of cold figure so far away. Cloud Dance walks and looks at magic sky, and her eyes never leave him. He seems to have completely split into two people. One is addicted to the dark, the other is pure and lonely. Looking at the magic sky, Cloud Dance thought of the old man's words again. The descendants of the demons are his disciples. They fell in love with her daughter when they were practicing in the college. Although we don't know why the college left him, it's undeniable that the cultivation of the demons in the college is very fruitful. The pure aura of the college has helped him control his demons. If it wasn't for the college to prevent them from falling in love, why should they escape into the forest? The old man's daughter would not die, and the devil would not be inspired to devour the dark forces that have been imprisoned in the forest. There will not be the curse and the gap that will be destroyed one day. But she was always curious. Why did his daughter die? Cloud Dance came to the devil. The cold in her eyes was obvious. But the devil didn't feel confused. Vaguely, she felt an invisible pain around him. Do you remember that woman? Is it still heartache? Cloud Dance mouth corner outline of sneer a bit deeper. Mao Guang seemed to have 4 or 5 glances at Lu Bai. He can also feel his breathing sound should not be life-threatening. Remember what she told you? She said she wants you to overcome the demons in your heart and believe that you will succeed. Cloud Dance looks at the magic sky and says word by word. Looking at the devil day, hearing what she said, he was slightly stunned. There was a change in his confused and empty eyes. It seemed that the violent oppression that could appear at any time had subsided a lot at the moment. Cloud Dance looked at his change. The corners of his mouth involuntarily hook up, in different eyes across a trace of frost-filled smile. She bet right. She won this move, which means that she will win this game. But what about you? It's not only controlled, but also reinvigorated the demons that have been controlled. She told me that she was heartbroken magic day, once again a Zheng. Slowly raised eyes looking at the clouds. June eyes is no longer floating misty empty, but a kind of unclear complex. She is not only controlled, but also used by others. She will die in her own eyes if she breaks through the barrier with her demonic nature at the bottom of her heart. Cloud Dance's eyes are sharp. Every word is pearl. Every word and every sentence is passed into the ears of magic heaven, which gives him a shock. Do you know her? The hoarse and laborious voice came from his throat. It seemed that he didn't speak for a long time. What he said was not very standard and clear, but Yunwu understood it. At this time, the devil is not a murderous and violent man, nor is he pure and ethereal, but a normal man. The cloud dances. The corner of the mouth is raised. The eye inside flits over a silk satirical smile. 3 personalities? No, but I can understand what she thinks. Cloud Dance looks at Demon Sky. He is normal at the moment, but his slightly decadent face is dirty. But it is not difficult to see that he is an extremely handsome young man. They forced her to death. In a word, he said the reason why he was so evil. His favorite woman was forced to death by his master and her own father. Who can bear the pain? Thinking of her, she couldn't help looking back and looking at her dragon with a smile on her face. If one day, what will she do when he's gone? She didn't know what she would do, but just looking at him in a daze, she had never had the intention to kill in her heart, just like a monster with no emotion and pain. There was only one word in her heart: kill. Kill all those who want to hurt him and all those who ridicule him. She seems to be able to feel the feelings of Magic Day at that time. The most loved one died in his arms. In that moment, he hated, hate into anger, anger to kill together. The magic is stimulated. Even if you kill everyone, she won't come back, will she? Why don't we get out of her shadow and live again? Cloud Dance glares at the magic sky, and the coldness of the corner of the eye has gone. Devil Day complex mouth sun inside flit over a wishful of vision. Then the corner of the mouth a pull. Peep out a put on seemed to have some helpless, miserably smile. Late. Who set you free? Suddenly, Long Qingxie didn't know when he came to Yunwu's side, and his black eyes stared at the magic sky. Yunwu looks back at him and smiles at him. Long Qingxie grabbed her chin and said, "I'm smiling at you." Cloud Dance face brush of a change. A palm split. Dragon Qing evil moment stop hand. The air is filled with Cloud Dance anger. Magic Day looking at the action between the two. The corners of his mouth show a smile. That smile is like the haze for a long time. The sky suddenly cleared up in general, dazzling, or with a trace of melancholy. Who let you out? Dragon Ching Xie glanced at the devil sky, and there was a trace of convergence in his eyes. He asked again. Magic Day, slightly drooping eyes, messy black hair covered most of his face. Can't see what he looks like, just vaguely feel the indifference of his body. You know it's going to be dangerous. It seems that his hoarse voice can hardly be heard. He has been imprisoned for so many years, and his voice has rusted away year after year. Cloud danced, slightly raised eyes to glance at a dragon to pour evil. The meaning in that eyes dragon to pour evil, understand. Did you hurt him? Long Qingxie glanced at Lu, by lying in the residual leaves, and continued to ask. Devil Day saw Lu by one eye. Dim Mao Sun pondered for a long time, just shake head. Don't know. Suddenly, there was a movement in Lu Bai on the ground. Her finger with distinct knuckles moved slightly, and her pretty white face had a painful expression. Suddenly, Magic Day quickly swept him one eye. A fierce palm wind floated over his neck. Lu Bai just woke up, fell into a coma again. Cloud dance indifference of Mao Sun, tiny as sink. Some don't understand of looking at the evil sky. Suddenly, the dark forces in the forest came like a surging river, with leaves flying, branches swaying, and dust flying. In the next moment, the magic sky instantly pulled up the clouds and disappeared in the same place. Long Qingxie looked at the black shadow of the evil sky. His eyes were scarlet, and his mouth was cold. A white shadow passed by, and quickly caught up with the black shadow. In the dark, magic sky gallops past with a cloud dance. The wind is roaring, whistling in the ear, and the cheek is biting by the wind. Cloud dance knows how fast magic sky is at this time. Lift eyes to see under the body, trees hazy into a shadow, only to see a red and a green shadow. Suddenly, in the next moment, the green wind came, just like a dragon, wrapping them in an instant. Magic Day confused eyes slightly alung, instantly let go of the clouds, flying to the other side. Finally, the sharp air flow did not continue. The hazy scene in front of her eyes returned to normal, and she finally regained her freedom and felt a sense of security when touching the earth. Suddenly, the whirlpool of wind element became bigger and bigger. It seemed that I saw a pair of bloodthirsty and cold purple eyes in the whirlpool, emitting the cold purple light that belonged to her. I won't hurt you. Take that thing away. The evil sky is looking at the wind element on Cloud Dance body. A pair of empty eyes have already restored the normal facial expression at the moment. The cloud dancing green silk in the green revolving nest is fluttering, and the corner of the mouth is cold. Do you want to withdraw? Isn't that a shame for me? The devil Day hears, slightly a zheng. In the double pupil peeps out a touch of painful color, as if recalled a long time ago matter. They had a fight when they first met a long time ago, and she said the same thing to him. Don't I have no face? Suddenly, a touch of black fighting spirit appeared in Devil's hand. It was the darkness that belonged to the heir of the demon family. The fighting spirit was surrounded by silver light. There was an undercurrent at the bottom of Yunwu's eyes, and the dark fighting spirit was silvery at the same time. The purple fighting spirit in the hands of the cloud dance quietly emerged to meet the black fighting spirit. They collided in an instant, making a huge bang from thousands of miles away, and the aftershocks seemed to spread to the inner college. The elder and several elders looked at each other, and the sharp eyes were filled with surprise. Did they fight? All of a sudden, the air around them speeded up, and the wind became extremely sharp. The remnant leaves were cut, and the trunks around them were scratched with marks of blade length. The cloud dance's purple pupil Mao inside flits over a silk surprised. She used the purple fighting spirit of full strength unexpectedly by his dark fighting spirit engulfed. If he didn't take back the dark fighting spirit, then I won't hurt you. Magic Day looking at the clouds. Clear eyes seem to be able to see the depth. The depth is a look of trust. Suddenly, the wind element disappeared, and the clouds fluttered in front of the devil. It's not that she really believes him, it's because she can't beat him. since he said that he would not hurt her. What is she doing? Is she really stupid? What did you bring me for? There is a trace of indifference in the clouds. I just want to finish one thing, and then it doesn't matter. The evil sky raised eyes to see one-eyed dim sky, the double eyes inside a put-on complicated facial expression to flow through. Her soul is in this forest. The forest is full of her breath. She must not like such a ghost forest. And in front of this woman, has the same cold and gorgeous determination as her, has the same disgust that does not regard him as a monster. This time he's going to save her. Just think of her, as if she's still alive. Suddenly, the evil sky's eyes rose, a pair of clear eyes now completely turned into black, filled with a strange smell. He opened his pale lips and looked at the sky. For a moment, Yunwu seemed to feel a strong suction, which came from the magic sky. Yunwu looks at Mengtian. His eyes are filled with surprise. Does he want to swallow all the dark breath in the forest? In a moment, the color of the forest suddenly changed, and it seemed to condense into a huge vortex. The dark air floating in the sky suddenly became extremely ferocious, just like a fierce ghost, roaring and roaring. Those dark breath seems to be very unwilling to be swallowed by him, just like the resistance of having a soul. All the dark breath in the whole forest is sucked, and the resistance is useless. In the hazy cloud dance seems to see a white light. Just after Long Qingxie came all the way, looking at the purple figure that had not been heard in the distance, the nervous face and the restless heart finally relaxed slightly. Suddenly, the devil seems to find the dragon's evil figure, speeding up the speed of phagocytosis. In the next second, the sky suddenly a bright, used to see the dark sky, white light warm pour down, actually shining eyes. Cloud dance a hand-block dazzling ray of light, slightly recover to come over, then vigilantly look to the devil sky. Just when his eyes locked the position of Magic Heaven had already looked at her in the place of one step. At the moment, the white figure of Dragon Qingxie is fierce like thunder and lightning, and the place that he often tilts is destroyed without any vitality. He's angry, completely enraged. Yunwu feels it. Just at the moment when Yunwu wanted to move, he was suddenly controlled by the devil. You! As soon as Yunwu opened her mouth, a strange dark suddenly began to invade her body from the devil heaven. What's that? Cloud Dance frowns, want to struggle, but found that the whole body cannot move. Devil's dark eyes were full of black flames, and his body was surrounded by dangerous dark flames, as if to burn him. He looked at the Cloud Dance for a moment, with a trace of pain in his eyes, and his face turned pale without a trace of blood. Cloud Dance thinks that she is wrong. So, under the fierce dark breath, his eyes are still clear, not confused and empty, only clear and pure. I sealed it up. It won't hurt you. Don't be caught by bad people. I will protect you forever. When half in a coma, Yunwu seems to hear this sentence from the devil, and then he feels a figure with a cold and dangerous breath, holding himself up in the air. Smelling the familiar smell, Yunwu's mouth was pale and slightly raised, and then he didn't know what happened. Yunwu's eyes moved and slowly opened his eyes. A pure light came into his eyes. The whole forest had recovered its original color, pure and blue. Suddenly, her eyes tight, suddenly sat up from the ground, looked around. When she saw the dragon holding her evil, she was relieved, the corner of her mouth slightly hook and nest into his arms. It's good that he's okay. Suddenly, Yunwu felt the hand around his waist, moved slightly, and looked up at the evil eyes. Where's the devil? Cloud Dance can feel that Dragon Qingxie is not hurt, but the devil is gone, which makes her indifferent eyes have a trace of doubt. Defeated by my husband, Dragon Qing evil sword eyebrow a yang, a face-proud pet drown of kiss her forehead. Jie? Cloud Dance micro frown, a face of doubt piao he, eyes full of don't believe. The power of magic bite of Magic Heaven is beyond imagination. If it breaks out completely, the whole mainland of China will tremble. Cloud Dance suddenly wanted to understand, A trace of relief passed in her eyes. She seemed to understand why the elders didn't agree with them. One lives in the dark. One lives in the light. Destined to be together is a fight between darkness and light. It is really a catastrophe. Cloud Dance raises Mao a face a door of appearance. Looking at the dragon to pour evil, modestly ask away. Can you ask how to defeat? Dragon Ching evil mouth a yong. Show a helpless smile. This temporarily confidential. Let for husband in your heart to leave some mystery. White eyes, still mysterious? Isn't he mysterious enough? However, she did not continue to ask, because she saw a trace of worry and remorse flashed at the bottom of Long Qingxia's eyes. What just happened? Where's Lu Bai? Cloud Dance glanced at the place where Lu Bai was originally, but found that there was no figure of him, only a pile of blood-stained maple leaves, emitting a gloomy anti-evil atmosphere. I have asked Nangong Yi, Shangguan, and Zhou Feiyu to take him back to the college. Mention Lu Bai. Longqing, evil Mao's son, suddenly a sink. Cloud Dance, just probed through his abnormality, didn't point to break. Are the three of them all right? Cloud Dance slightly frowns, and there is a little indifference between the eyebrows. These three people only appear after they finish the battle. Isn't it a little too immoral? Nothing. As long as you are in space, nothing will happen. Dragon Ching, evil mouth a bend. Next second pinch Cloud Dance cold Yan's face. Gas silk still like. So don't hide care about other people, for husband but will be jealous. Besides, I also hurt. Long Qingxia stretched out his finger, which was cut open, and leaned against Yunwu with a faint appearance. Did you know all three of them were trapped in that hidden space? Cloud Dance pinches his finger to have a look. The Mao light inside flits over a doubt. The scar angle on this finger, obviously, is his own cut. Why did he cut his finger? Feeding her blood? Then Yunwu denied his idea. Although his blood has magical effect, after her fourth awakening of witchcraft power in her body, the anaphagic effect on his blood is even worse. Long Qingxia won't do it. Cloud Dance micro frown. To her coma after what happened, very confused. Yes. Long Qingxia looks at her without concealment, with an evil smile in the corner of his mouth. Then why don't you let them out? Yunwu's face was cold. But I still want to have a close world with my wife. Let them go. After that, Long Qingxia encircled the Cloud Dance in his chest, and the evil spirit said, "Do you think so?" His hot breath, gossamer in her neck, exudes a touch of provocative disorder. Let Yunwu can't help shivering. In order to cover up the uneasiness in her heart, she could only choke with him. But in her heart, she scolded him 1,000 times. How do I think it's always been a three-person world? The dragon tilts evil spirit to smile, but the eye bottom passes a silk to cover up. The devil day is approaching to leave. Tell me, we have never met, also never know each other. How come three peoples? Cloud Dance slightly pick eyebrow. Ponder the meaning of his words. His meaning is today's thing as did not happen, as a dream? She seems to be able to feel that after her coma, he and the devil didn't fight each other. On the contrary, they talked with each other for a long time, and the final result must be what Long Qingxia didn't want to see. It's just that he can't change the result, and the consequences of the result make him a little worried. So he blamed himself, worried, and hid his emotions from her. What did he talk about with Devil? What can he not solve? But there's one thing she can be sure about. It's about her. He didn't want to say, didn't want to let her know. She didn't know, pretended to know nothing. Looking at the cloud sky that has been restored to be bright and bright, Yunwu's eyes are tinged with a smile, and the corners of his mouth outline a slightly arrogant smile. Let's go back to Cloud Dance raises Mao to see to encircle her dragon, to pour evil, languid of lie. Dragon Ching evil eyes some dim looking at her. Innocently shake their fingers to her to see. I'm still injured, need to rest. Cloud Dance. Go back and raise it again. Yunwu stood up from his arms and gave him a white look. Thanks to his good intention, he held the finger which was as thin as hair and wound in front of her eyes. Dragon Ching evil also lift Mao to look at her, have no idea of meaning. Cloud Dance glanced at him, turned and left, thinking, I don't believe you don't go. 1 step, 2 steps, 10 steps. Cloud Dance suddenly stopped, angrily rubbed the bottom of the eyes of Ran instantly toward the dragon Qingxia swept away. Do you go or not? Long Qingxia just looks at her with beautiful eyes and doesn't speak, but the deep part of those evil eyes is a smile that can't be seen clearly. Cloud Dance's forehead suddenly black-lined after a long time, and seems to compromise in general, turned back. Go Yunwu stares at the dragon Qingxia sitting on the ground. His words are cold, and he seems to want to take him away to increase his aura. But in the case of dragon, it's doomed to be useless. I saw a dragon Qingxia half, squinting his eyes, and a smile of ruffian evil spirit was outlined in the corner of his mouth. The shining light reflected into the Cloud Dance's slightly cold eyes, but found that her cold eyes in only his figure. There is no other thing. Give me a kiss and go. Dragon Qing, evil slightly pick eyebrow, looking up at Cloud Dance, slightly angry small face. Cloud Dance face suddenly a black, the corner of the mouth fierce a twitch. Can you restrain shamelessness a little bit? The phoenix eye of Cloud Dance, Shun Nu stares at him. He won't go. She's worrying about dogs and mice here. But momentum is good. The Cloud Dance's cold Mao Sun to gaze at the dragon, to pour evil a few instants. Double Mao inside, flit a silk compromise, toward him hook finger. Long Qingxia's eyes brightened, and the corners of his mouth were smiling. He was as happy as a child when he got the sugar. He was afraid that she would regret it, so he rushed to her with his lips. It is not in the same pace as the image of evil indifference in the past. Cloud Dance slightly frowned. Sue ran in the wind with a sigh. The next second, a cold soft lips touched the dragon's hot lips. The two lips collide, the cold and hot, mutual exclusion and mutual attraction. Seems to be such a perfect combination. Suddenly, the next second she left his lips, deliberately ignore the heart, faint palpitation, and his crazy charm eyes. Goshi made a cold voice, but not just so cold, but some dodge. Cheeks do not know what a hot. How sweet the sugar is. Is it your secret recipe? Can I have it every day? Dragon Qing, evil eyes, evil smile. Mouth perfect outline. Took her hand, stood up. Hearing what he said, there was an embarrassed Cloud Dance, and his face was even darker, like the precursor of a storm. If you don't say anything, you promise. Let's go. Long Qingxia picks up her waist, and her two figures are hazy in the forest, which has gone away. When you get the sweetness, you should stop in time, take it slowly, and finally make it a habit. The Cloud Dances the corner of the mouth to take out of a gnashed teeth. On the face of embarrassment skim a touch of red halo, that fierce sharp shuttle of wind. Leave only a touch of anger. Shameless man. When they successfully solved the problems in the forest, the knot in the hearts of several elders for more than 10 years was finally opened, and their affirmation of their ability reached a higher level. Soon this matter was spread out by no one. Suddenly, it was spread in the whole Shenwang Samurai Academy, and their names also set up a god image in the hearts of some students. In the quiet flower garden, two white figures seemed to be saying something. The magic bite in her body has been imprisoned by the highest imprisoned method of the demon clan. There will be no abnormality for the time being. The elder pharmacist's white eyebrows coagulated, and his eyes were full of meditation. What will happen to her if she can't be imprisoned one day? Standing opposite the elder pharmacist is Long Qingxia. He looks gloomy. He has always been arrogant, indifferent, and evil. Now he feels a little at a loss. There's nothing wrong with losing control and becoming demons or controlling demons. The elder pharmacist's white eyebrows wrinkled. He never thought that magic heaven had given magic to Yunwu. When he saw Yunwu come back, he always felt that there was a familiar smell on her. Although he couldn't be sure, it was only when he first saw Meng Tian more than 10 years ago. He just called her pulse for relief, but he was shocked and cold all over her body is actually the power of magic bite. Li Mao's meditation is getting deeper and deeper. He really doesn't understand why the devil heaven gives the power of the devil to Yunwu. How to control it? Long Qingxia looks at the pharmacist elder. His deep eyes jump out of a bright color, and his sword eyebrows are slightly raised. The elder pharmacist sighed a little. He had no choice but to shake his head. I don't know. I've just heard about it in the past, but it's not easy to control it. It's very good for magic Tian, and he has a very high understanding. There is no one in the whole academy who can cultivate himself. Several elders and his own efforts have failed to control magic bite for more than 10 years. Hearing the words, the dragon's eyes sank slightly, and there was a touch of cold at the bottom of the eyes. But there is another way, that is, at the moment when Moji just sneaks into his body, he drops another person's blood on his heart. Moji will absorb that drop of blood at the moment when he enters his heart. If one day he can't restrain the power of Moji, they can work together to control Moji, or they can bear the pain of Moji at will. There is a trace of love in the eyes of the elder pharmacist. The evil they committed more than 10 years ago made her bear the punishment. Are they too selfish? Is it possible to use one life for both? The corner of Long Qingxia's mouth has drawn a curve, but it is extremely cold. The elder pharmacist was slightly surprised. He stared at the dragon in surprise. His fingers could not help pointing to his nose. How can you? With a mysterious smile on the corner of his mouth, Long Qingxia turned away from the flower garden. Don't let her know. Thank you. In the wind filled with fragrance of flowers, Long Qingxia's clothes are floating, with a touch of evil in the hazy. His solid arms seem to bear a lot of things, but they are still natural and easy. The pharmacist elder looked at the back of Long Qingxia, and his eyes narrowed slightly. After a long time, he sighed deeply, pondering over the fact that the two of them are powerful now. Few of them are their opponents. Their worried look is much more relaxed. In the early morning, the first ray of sunshine poured into the square of Inner College, filled with a hazy beauty. Cloud dance, such a coincidence. Yunwu, who just passed the training tower and was ready to go to class, suddenly heard a voice coming from behind and leisurely stopped to look around. It's unintentional. What a coincidence. Cloud danced tiny jawhead smile way. It said that you went to the college forest together and broke the curse more than 10 years ago. It's really you. Unintentionally, that lazy corners of the mouth with a smile, eyes swept a trace of imperceptible soft. Cloud danced calmly a smile. The corners of the mouth lightly pull of outline, smile of slightly deep meaning. Ling Feng and small Zhu cultivative how. The smile on the corner of her mouth is a little stiff. She only talks about Ling Feng and Xiao Zhu. Isn't it his star mouse suddenly surprised, and soon cleverly covered up the past? Are good, have you this example in the front. They are very hard. That's good. Cloud dance should be a, intend to turn away. Shangguan figure suddenly appeared. Good morning, what a coincidence. Shangguan patted unintentionally on the shoulder and looked at Yunwu with a wild smile. Cloud dance Mao Guang Yi Lu, tiny Cu eyebrow. Do you know? Shangguan nodded and looked at her in surprise. Didn't I tell you? Cloud dance glanced at him and saw a cold light passing by. She met unintentionally many times, but she didn't know much about it. Let me introduce you, Wu X, my best friend. Shangguan embraces unintentional shoulder. Seems to be very proud of Chaoyin dance, picking the unruly eyebrow. Cloud dance slightly jawhead. She has long felt that the breath of unintentional is different. At that time, just think he and himself have what's secret just into the college. Since he is a friend of Shangguan, he can understand how to hide his breath. If the people of the Beast Gate knew it early, would she come near? However, since this period of time, she didn't feel that he had any intention. As for Shangguan, she was not trusted by her friends, but also trusted. Cloud Dance glanced at them, with a smile on the corner of her mouth, and turned away. I don't want to look at the Cloud Dance's back. It's cool and domineering. It's cold and bloodthirsty in the cold and gorgeous resolution. Who can integrate such an impossible feeling so perfectly? looking at the purple hazy back. Inadvertently, there is a trace of complex, abnormal moment in the eyes. And this wipe is unusual, but can't escape the eyes of the superior officer. You like her? Shangguan stares at unintentionally, passing a trace of pondering in his cynical eyes. Although he asked him, he said it for sure. Inadvertently, he took a look at Shangguan. His eyes flashed. You think too much. After being friends for so long, I never thought that we would fall in love with the same woman. Tell me the truth, so as not to be unhappy in the future. Shangguan stares at the bottom of his eyes. Not intentional, Zheng. Handsome face, complex coagulation. A pair of handsome eyes looking at Shangguan's serious look. Ponder for a moment. Like, that's it? I want to play a little more. When Shangguan heard his affirmative answer, his eyes were fixed. In the blink of an eye, he recovered to his usual appearance, inadvertently frowning slightly, looking back at the Shangguan. As far as I know, she already has a sweetheart. You can do it yourself, but I'm optimistic about you. With a smile, Shangguan picked his eyebrows and left. However, at the moment of leaving, his smile froze and finally completely erased. Inadvertently looking at his back, Junmu skips a trace of complexity. When Yunwu comes to the class, it is expected that all the students will look up and look at each other jealously. She went back to her seat without looking. Yunwu, I heard you broke the curse of the college for more than 10 years. Is it dangerous inside? How did you do that? It's said that the 7 princes of the Zhou dynasty have also gone. Well, it's not all the help of those men. A touch of voice into the cloud dance ear, let her now calm heart suffused with a nameless dry stuffy. Cloud dance micro frown, I bottom skim a trace of cold and impatient. She wanted to completely ignore the adoration, jealousy, and resentment and continue her class. But there was always a voice of doubt, surprise, and adoration in her ear. The interval was no more than 10 seconds. How could she think about learning? So she decided to skip class and stood up to leave the class. Suddenly, at a corner, her slender hand was in front of her. Yunwu frowned slightly, looked at the master who was in the way, searched in his mind, and finally decided not to know him. She indifferently takes back the eye-sun, plans to cross that hand to continue to leave. But that hand blocked her way again. Yunwu looked at the soft and white hands in front of her, and a cold smile passed by the bottom of her eyes. She couldn't help thinking, would this hand break when she touched it? The woman looked at her, gentle as water in the eyes, flashing a charming smile. The bottom of the eyes is a look of resentment. I heard that the 7th prince went with you, didn't he? Mo looked at the cloud dance, seemingly ordinary asked, but in the words as if she answered yes, she would kill her appearance. Cloud dance pursed the corner of the mouth, taun a hook, cold glance at her. Do I have to answer your question? It's just a question. Can't the trainees answer it? Mo slightly raised his eyebrows and looked at the other Zhou Feiyu parties. It means to let them see how shameless cloud dance is, to rob the godlike male god in their heart, and to be so domineering. Cloud dance looks at the several women behind him. The eye bottom passes a trace of disdain. Yu opens away. Can't. After that, she got up and left. She was too lazy to talk to them about something that had nothing to do with her. When she left the class, she could feel the strong resentment behind her and wanted to tear her to pieces. If resentment could kill people like fighting spirit, she would have had a fight with Master Yama now. Women's jealousy is terrible. Fortunately, she didn't halfway through, she hesitated. I nodded for a while. She must not be that kind of woman. In a moment, she imagined that if Long Qingxia was as good to another woman as he was to her, she would spoil her, a ruffian rascal, and be shameless once in a while. Then she suddenly, the cloud dances the eye bottom to pass a silk not to bear, tightly purses the corner of the mouth. A pair of willow eyebrows unconsciously congealed, in the heart suffused with a touch of nameless anger. Then she shook her head, some self-blame, or thinking about what a mess. Depressed. Suddenly, Yunwoo felt an abnormal air flow behind him, and his eyes stopped as soon as they swept. He's mine since he was 10 years old. I won't allow you to take him away. Moho came from behind her with a warning and a fierce voice. Cloud Dance stretched out his hand to touch the forehead of a tiny wrinkle. Some helpless these people's self-righteous. Don't say that she doesn't want to have anything to do with Zhou Feiyu. Even if there is something to do with Zhou Feiyu. If he is her, she can't take it away. Why can't this person understand a truth? It's yours. No one can take it. It's not yours. It's not yours. Yunwoo is too lazy to speak and is ready to leave again. Did you hear me clearly? If there is a next time, don't blame me for being rude. Mo looked at the way she didn't even look back, and a sense of anger rose in her heart, as if she had been trampled on. Cloud Dance stops abruptly, turns round to lift Mao to glance at her one eye. The corner of the mouth raises to put on to have no meaning smile. What do you say? Mo looked at her cold, sharp eyes, slightly surprised, then slightly narrowed his eyes and said, Next time, don't blame me for being rude. Cloud Dance nodded, a clear look. Looking at the Cloud Dance that Wei Nuan nods to her. The corner of Mo's mouth floats a scornful sneer. Who knows the following sentence completely let her lung God. How do you want to be rude to me? Civil or martial? Cloud Dance looked at her conceited, raised sneer. The corner of the mouth swept a touch of helpless children cannot teach. Sometimes people just like to be smart. They don't see through other people's minds, but they think that if they see through others' minds, they can only become like this. When they are proud and happy, they immediately fall into, you mean you really like him? Ink Lotus gentle with water eyes suddenly een. Looking at Cloud Dance face, instant change. This woman's face changes quickly. The Cloud Dances, the corner of the mouth raises a light smile. But she instantly changed to take back the smile of the corner of her mouth, and the light of her eyes also recovered. She glanced at Mo and said, He has nothing to do with me. It suddenly occurred to her that she would have time to skip class today. It's time to see her elite troops and killer corps. Stop. What do you mean it's none of your business? I can see he's watching you all the time. Moho called her figure again. Suddenly, a touch of green fighting spirit rushed at her. Cloud Dance Mao light, suddenly a change. Frost general indifference suddenly fell down. She said it doesn't matter. She is still that Jiwei spell. What strength? Yunwoo's palm is a touch of purple, and her fighting spirit is emerging. There is no wave in her cold eyes. Just waiting for the moment when the fighting spirit is close to her. It will give her a shock, but not a fatal blow. All of a sudden, a silver shadow flashed across the cloud and disappeared behind her. And then the blue fighting spirit disappeared. Not it's not brother. Yumo looked at the flash of the figure in front of him. He was so surprised that he couldn't even say a complete word. Yunwoo heard that he turned around and looked at Zhou Feiyu. At the moment, he was holding Mo's wrist. His broad hand was holding her slender arm. His smooth fingernails were slightly white, and his sharp eyes were slightly angry. Cloud Dance and the heart tut shake head. With so great strength, really don't know how to pity Jade. Zhou Feiyu loosened Mo's wrist, looked back at Yunwoo, a pair of aggressive eyes. Eyes suddenly slowed. You should have solved her. When Yunwoo heard this, he was stunned. Then he glanced at the stupefied Mo and raised a sneer and cold smile at the corner of his mouth. This is the last time. Then Cloud Dance turned and left. Zhou Feiyu watched Yunwoo leave. Looking back at Mo, his angry eyes were merciless and indifferent. Don't provoke her. Brother Feiyu, you hurt me. The ink lotus looks at the wrist of purple-red circle. The soft eyes are suffused with crystal-clear tears. Holding Zhou Feiyu's hand some grievances. Go away. Zhou Feiyu shook his hand fiercely, just shook Mo, and fell to the ground with a clatter. Even Yunwoo, who had already left, felt the sound. and there was a sneer on the corner of Yunwu's mouth. Is that the nature of Prince Jochi? Mo touched the body of eating pain. Tears in his eyes fell down, and a gloomy hatred appeared in his hazy eyes. Don't mess with her. You'll survive. Ruthless voice like a piece of ice cannot melt in general, carrying out the class corridor, freezing Mo's body and mind. Then he did not look at her, turned and left. Just like a lonely and indifferent star, the only one who could melt his weakness was the woman. Looking at the figure, Mo's eyes were filled with a sense of hostility and killing. They grew up together. She is willing to do everything for him, only in his body for more than 10 years. Only think that one day he can see her, even a warm eyes, in the end still get his indifference. But that woman easily got all his attention and love. How can she not hate it? Cloud dance. I will never let you go. Just when Yunwu plans to go to the cliff and return to the barracks, he meets Lu Bai on the only way to the cliff, as if he was deliberately waiting for her there. This feeling made Yunwu slightly unhappy. Lu Bai felt her breath and looked back at her. A faint smile appeared on her white and thin face. Are you coming? Cloud Dance Mao bottom flits past a doubt. And look, do you know I want to come? Lu Bai nodded. Because of the injury, the thin face was a little pale at the moment, and it seemed that the whole person had a sense of emptiness and powerlessness. What's the matter? Cloud Dance raises Mao to look at Lu Bai. They calculate familiar. He is waiting for her to do here? Thank you for saving me. Lu Bai is powerless and generally squints Mao's son to look at her, stiff, tiny smile. For this? The Cloud dances slightly to pick eyebrow. The Mao light passes a silk of complexity. Just to thank her and wait for her here? What is he thinking? There is only one possibility for anyone to come here, that is, to go down the mountain secretly. He told her plainly that he knew that she was going down the mountain. Did he want to threaten her, or what? Lu Bai gave her the impression that he was a mysterious person who lived in a dark corner, as if he was the only one in his world, isolated from the world. Well, Lu Bai nodded and then laughed. I'm the son of General Lu. We should have known each other a long time ago. General Lu? Yunwu narrowed her eyes and thought about the name. Then she raised her eyes slightly and became an official in the same dynasty with her father Lung Yuni. You are Lu Jiangwen's son? Cloud Dance Mao Guang is startled, looking at Lu Bai's pale and thin face. The corner of the mouth one purses. Lu Bai's eyes appear a touch of color, and then definitely nods. Cloud Dance Mao Bottom flits a silk surprised, looking at Lu Bai, but don't know what attitude should use to him. From the memory information, I heard that Lu Jiangying's son had a strange disease 15 years ago. He was like a piece of ice to the bone. There was no temperature at all. He would be worse off if he was exposed to a ray of sunshine. At that time, he was only 5 years old and was put into an iron cage. Since then, there's been no day. Didn't expect that today's Lu Bai was the little boy who made a sensation in mainland China because of strange diseases. After Yunwu looked at Lu Bai, if he was the son of Lu Jiangying, he could understand why he was always lonely, dark, and isolated. Have you recovered from your strange illness? Cloud Dance slightly raises Mao. This just looked at him, one eye carefully, in addition to the complexion pale outside, already did not have that bone to cold feeling. Well, Lu Bai's mouth grinned, and his white face had a stiff smile. Cloud Dance nodded, slightly drooping eyes, said with a smile, Your injury is not good. Go back to have a good rest. Lu Bai is a lung. The Mao sun that has been Zheng Ran is suffused with smile. Then nod. You are careful. Cloud Dance looked at the figure that he left, gathered the eyes of a smile, and looked at him thoughtfully. How can a person who has no experience in the world after the age of 5 have such a thoughtful mind to predict that she will come to this cliff? Cloud Dance mouth hook died with a meaningless smile. Undoubtedly, Lu Bai's waiting for her here attracted her attention. Killer's professionalism has been conditioned so that she does not easily believe anyone. Zhou Feiyu is, so is Lu Bai. In a perfect arc, she left the inner college with the fastest speed. In case of being followed, she left every time with the fastest speed. She can't let anyone who can't trust know the existence of elite troops and killer core. After the pharmacist elder's pills and her training, the elite troops should have achieved something by now, but it's still a short way to reach the ideal state. If they continue to take the pharmacist elder's pills in the future and step up their training, they should be able to reach the peak. She just needs to take time to check. As for the killer core, she thinks it's time for her to test the achievements of those guys. The clouds are flying in the air, all the way to the eastern suburb woods. The wind is whistling and the purple clouds are fluttering. It has the feeling of soaring in the sky. I made some pills for you. If you give them to your soldiers, they can strengthen their strength. In the chaos hall of consciousness came the voice of black pride. Cloud dance eyes appear a touch of light. Mouth yawn surprise eyes. You refining? It's not me. Who else is here? The black pride in the chaos hall sighed, a little helplessly. The cloud dances to listen to words. In the eyes schemes a thief light. Instantly sneaks into chaos temple. At this time, Hayo is holding an iron box in his hand. Seeing the speed of cloud dancing in, he is slightly stunned. Then he shakes his head helplessly and throws the black box to her. Yunwoo takes over the black box. His eyes are full of hard-to-hide light. With the pills refined by Hayo and the pills of the pharmacist elder, the time for soldiers to reach the peak can be reduced by half, and the strength can be greatly improved. This is a box of pills. It's so timely. Cloud Dance opened the black box, looked at about 100 pills inside, frowned slightly, raised her eyes and looked at Hayo. Is that all? In fact, Cloud Dance ignores that the Black Pride alchemy can only be outside. How can an alchemy in Chaos Hall? Black Proud smell speech see that originally dark fog, now more gloomy some. If you eat one of these things, you can greatly improve Yuan Li. If you eat too much, you will bleed from 7 orifices. Black Ao looked at the cloud dance. That seems to be too less like eyes. All of a sudden more dark. This cool and indifferent girl, how to let him see a different side. Cloud Dance has just put away a face to query of look in the eyes. Looked at the black box on the hand. The Mao light flits over a ray of pure light. Then put it into the bosom. Forget it, that's it. The tone was as if Hayo was too stingy. Suddenly, she sneaked out of the chaos hall and continued to fly to the eastern suburb woods. But she couldn't help but hook up her mouth and raise a smile that was brighter than the afterglow of the sun. Inside the hall of chaos comes the helpless sigh of Hayo. Yunwoo touches the black box on his chest with a smile in his eyes. What Hayo has developed must be very good. Even though there are only 100 pills, it's enough for those assassins and 100 soldiers. She was content. It's a big deal. When the team expands next time, we'll find a way to deduct points from him. Think of that Mao bottom, that silk cunning point pure light, joyfully jump to put on a flame. The woods in the eastern suburbs. When you look down in mid-air, you can see the whole forest at a glance, as well as some birds and animals. Cloud Dance mouth dyed a smile. Looking at the forest eyes aflash, a jump back to the ground. She stood outside the woods, looked around the woods, and listened to their killing intention carefully, only to find that their killing intention had completely disappeared and could not be felt at all. Cloud Dance mouth, slightly a yawn, with the spirit of 4 peep, found Sha 7 and white water and others dormant place. Dormant enough hidden, the cloud dances in the eye cold frost together. It seems that also needs to teach them how to hibernate. Suddenly, the wind element wrapped body, with a touch of air flow changes, instant dust, a touch of purple shadow, swept away in situ. At this time, the white water is dormant, staring at the forest path for a moment. In recent days, there have been a lot of green talents here. People at level 5 and level 6, and occasionally higher ones, will stop at the beginning and look around suspiciously, and then leave in meditation. That's because they found their murderous breath, so they tried harder to hide their breath. These days, they will not stop at all, and they also find their own changes. It seems that they do not have such a strong intention to kill. On the contrary, they are calm and indifferent. In recent days, they have been training day and night, assassinating, strengthening, and invigorating, and feeding on animals and birds. The accuracy rate of one hit is 100%. Yunwu swept her body and came to Biking Shui's back in an instant. Looking at her dormancy, she really couldn't feel the killing intention on her body. The corner of her mouth was slightly bent. Don't you know that the enemy is behind you? Cloud dance astringent mouse son. The voice with a slight smile confesses clear water behind rang up. White water smell speech face schwave cool. The whole body sweat hair all erect. The face suddenly some pale. Then he recognized the voice of Cloud Dance, which restored his normal and indifferent face. He got up and looked back at Cloud Dance and said, "Master." Cloud Dance looked at his pale face, slightly jaw-head, the corners of the mouth inexplicably smile. White water more lowered his head. That cold face swept a complex look. Meet later. Cloud Dance gathered the smile from the corner of her mouth, and her eyes returned to indifference. Suddenly, a gust of wind passed by, and her figure had completely disappeared in front of the white water. Bai Qingshui looks at the swift Ling Feng in front of her eyes, and her cold eyes are very surprised. How strong is she? He can't help but want to see what scene it is when she is really angry and really shows all her strength, which must be beyond his imagination. After Yunwu left, he came to Shaki in the same way. Looking at him who was proud and conceited last time, he was calm and restrained now. The corner of his mouth was hooked up again, but his indifferent eyes were still indifferent. How's it going? Cloud Dance hands ring chest, a put-on lazy posture of looking at the body under the latent evil spirit 7. Suddenly open away. Suddenly, Shachi suddenly turned back and stepped back. His face was as white water. For an assassin, this kind of silent appearance is the most fatal. Maybe a second later, they will be wiped their necks, and they don't know how to die. You. Shaki pointed to Yunwu and was surprised that he couldn't close his mouth. Then he found that he was abnormal. He quickly took back his hand and said respectfully, "Master." Cloud Dance indifferently looking at Sha 7, the corner of the mouth radiant, so hang. If it is the enemy, you are now dead. Yes, Shaki slightly lowered his head, and the surprise in his eyes quickly disappeared, but the shock still didn't go away. He only saw Cloud Dance once and knew how high her martial arts skills were, but he didn't know how strong she was. He just heard Bai Qingshui talk about the martial arts contest a few days ago. At that time, she was shocked and doubted. She didn't believe that Bai Qingshui's strength would be beaten by Yunwu. Now she quietly appeared behind him, but he was deeply convinced. Yunwu stares at Shaki, but makes Shaki lower his head in shame. A smile passes through Yunwu's indifferent eyes. It's really an interesting guy. It's not as stiff and indifferent as others. It's a good seedling because of its fast-changing expression. Assemble with a low roar of Cloud Dance. The air seemed to vibrate. The sound, like magic, came into the ears of all the people in the forest. After hearing the sound of Cloud Dance, the assassin left the forest and gathered in a secret corner. Cloud Dance looks at the assassin, who is assembled in an instant. There is a trace of satisfaction in her eyes, and her cool face is gentle. I'm glad you've completely wiped out your murderous intention. You've overcome the biggest problem. Cloud Dance half squints the Mao Sun to scan 10 assassins' one eye. Discover that their eyes are calm without waves. The corners of the mouth outlined slightly. But do you know why I can find you? Because dormancy is not good enough. Cloud Dance intentionally or unintentionally swept Sha 7 and white water one eye, eyes cold and sharp. As an assassin, concealment ability must be better. Want to hide well, will camouflage. Suddenly, the Cloud Dances, The bottom of the eyes passes a trace of killing intention. The smile outlined in the corner of the mouth becomes a little bloodthirsty, and the eyes seem to leave a big tree in the forest, and it's freezing and cold in an instant. In a flash, the cloud dance disappeared like lightning, and a vague shadow stunned the people. In the blink of an eye, the cloud dance had reached a big tree 100 corn away. Everyone looked at each other, and their admiration soared. This time, they finally saw the strength of cloud dance. They couldn't find anything unusual in the woods, but she did. Moreover, the speed is as fast as shadow, and they can't capture it. If they want to achieve that speed, they won't be able to do it without years of hard work. Cloud Dance looked at the tree, the corner of his mouth suddenly a cold. Tree behind empty. Look up, see not far away a black figure is fast running. She slightly narrowed her eyes. The breath, it's the man of the beast gate. He can only die. Cloud Dance eyes died with a sense of killing. The corner of the mouth cold pull. A touch of bloody taste began to spread. Suddenly, the shadow fell on the ground again and blocked the way of the black-robed man. The figure was cold and resolute, with a strong intention to kill. She was kind enough to remind him that he was going to die. The man in black robe saw the undisguised intention of killing in Yunwu's eyes. He was slightly stunned. Then he took out his sword and chopped it to Yunwu. The sword is full of black light, dark breath, solemn and gloomy. Yunwu looked at the air. The speed was extremely fierce, and the sword didn't hide at all. At the moment when the sword was waved, a touch of purple fighting spirit appeared in the palm of his hand. Bang! With a loud noise, the black-robed man with sword was shocked by purple fighting spirit. A burst of dust, leaves falling in the air. The black-robed man reluctantly half knelt on the ground, covering his stuffy chest, mouth with a touch of blood. That blow, she didn't want his life, just wanted him to taste the pain. So he's still alive, you? The black-robed man looked at the cloud dance in surprise, and his eyebrows were frozen in pain. His eyes were full of disbelief. He didn't even touch her, just now that blow. Just let you taste sweet. This blow is to send you to see the king of hell. Cloud Dance is raising the corner of the mouth. The cruel and bloodthirsty smile is spreading. What a big tone! With a cold hum, the man in black suddenly turns the body into black fighting spirit, and the air becomes extremely sharp in an instant. Yunwu frowned slightly. Her eyes flashed a little impatient, and the wind around her ears hurt her skin slightly. She looked at the man in black who had turned into a fighting spirit. Her eyes flashed a bit deep, but the bloodthirsty smile in the corner of her mouth did not diminish. Most of the people who can transform themselves into fighting spirit don't have the right mind when they practice, which leads them astray. Although this fighting spirit is extremely sharp and powerful, it is not in the same level with her wind element. Suddenly, the wind element suddenly appeared, Cloud Dance holding the green wind element, eyes like the devil with scarlet light. The man in black was slightly surprised to see that she was using wind elements. Is she the girl they have been looking for? This purple pupil girl is actually Miss Nine of the Cloud family. No wonder they have been looking for the whereabouts of the purple pupil girl, but nothing has been found. It turns out that they are alone. The black-robed man looks at the Cloud Dance, and his eyes have a trace of fear. They have heard about the ability of the purple pupil girl, and they are almost extinct summoners in the world. But looking at the killing intention in Yunwu's eyes, he knows that today either she killed him or he took her away. In an instant, the black-robed man's eyes were tight and tried his best to strike. The black fighting spirit darkened most of the woods in an instant. It was like a fierce tiger flying towards the clouds, and its momentum was unstoppable. The corner of Cloud Dance's mouth is full of bloodthirsty radiance. At the moment when the darkness erodes her, the wind element hits her in an instant. At the moment when the wind element's after effect does not fall, a wind sword stabs the black-robed man's chest without blocking body in an instant. The blood poured down the chest of the black-robed man and fell on the residual leaves on the ground in a perfect radiant. Without waiting for the black-robed man's surprised eyes to look at her, she flew out. A black figure hit the big tree and the sharp rocks on the ground. The dust flew in bursts, and the residual leaves exploded instantly. The scream of the black-robed man filled the forest and rolled to the white water at a fast speed. The 10 assassins, including Bai Qing Shui, looked at the black-robed man, whose face was beyond recognition, and his whole body was covered with blood. They had a chilling look at the bloodthirsty and cold, followed by Yunwu, whose eyes were unbelievable and flattering. The man in black was stabbed and cut by sharp stones. The whole man lay on the ground motionless, as if he had broken a bone, and the blood fell down his body. After a while, there was a pool of blood around him. Cloud danced coldly glances at the dead man in black. His bloodthirsty intention has retreated. His cold and gorgeous attitude has reappeared. Looking back at her, she looked at the 10 people who had been staring at the man in black robe. There was a cold smile on the corner of her mouth. It's called if you don't do something, you have to die. You don't have to be soft-hearted. At the moment when you are soft-hearted, the hidden ruthlessness of the enemy can kill you. I just said camouflage. Camouflage is to be good at using the terrain and landform to change yourself at any time. For example, in the woods, you can hide yourself with residual leaves, and in the grass, you can camouflage yourself with green grass. That's why you're used to wearing black clothes at night. Yunwu raised her eyes and looked at the crowd. Her mind returned to training them completely. She never looked at the corpse on the ground again. It seems that nothing happened just now, and she didn't kill anyone. While listening to this, everyone was shocked by her cruel and cold hand. Unexpectedly, she was cold in appearance, but bloodthirsty and cold in heart. At this moment, their hearts were completely attached to her, with no reason to refute their trust, and they swore to follow her all their lives without any doubt. Yunwu takes out the black box that Hayo gave her from her arms, pinches out 11 pills, and gives them to Baiqing Watercourse, one for each person. Then he raised his eyes and glanced at the crowd. I hope I won't find you dormant next time when I come here. Then he gave a cold glance at the black-robed man in the pool of blood. In addition to the cold, his eyes were more ruthless and determined. Throw his body into the Pacific Ocean for me. They also glanced at the man in black, immediately bowed their heads and said, yes. But they have a question in their heart. Where is the Pacific Ocean? But touch to cloud dance cold eye sun, but don't dare to ask exit. Yunwu glanced at the crowd indifferently, turned around and left. After a few steps, he suddenly stopped and looked back. My killer group doesn't need people like Wood. Put away your cold face and smile for me from now on. Hearing the speech, the people's faces were paralyzed and suddenly turned black. Looking at the figure who was cold and resolute, the corners of their mouths were stiff and pulled out a radiant. It's worse to laugh than to cry. The voice of Cloud Dance once again drifted into the ears of the people. Everyone looked at each other. The corner of his mouth's stiff smile suddenly collapsed, some helpless curl. Isn't there another expression? The crowd looked at the Cloud dancing back. Does she have eyes on her back? After leaving the woods in the eastern suburbs, Yunwu gazed at the half-sky full of sunshine and galloped all the way to the outside of the barracks. Looking at the 100 soldiers being trained, the corners of their mouths were slightly raised, showing a light smile. She went into the army barracks. Watching hundreds of soldiers sweat training, her eyes meditated on what? Miss 9. Gao Yu saw a purple and cold figure coming into the barracks from a distance. His sharp eyes were slightly surprised, and he immediately ran out to meet him. Cloud danced toward him, tiny jaw head. Look at him one eye way. Have the ability person in the barracks to seek to come over. Gao Yu was stunned. Although he didn't understand what he meant, he nodded and did it. These days, he saw a lot of things in his eyes, and in his heart, he could not help but began to recognize Yunwu, the new leader. Assemble Cloud Dance called out in a crisp and cold way. In an instant, hundreds of soldiers immediately gathered in a team, waiting for Cloud Dance's lecture. Today we have a competition, and those who win will stay. The loser is eliminated. Yunwu stares at the 100 soldiers, and his words are awe-inspiring. It seems that he has the natural style of commanding and dominating the sky. Yes, 100 soldiers yelled, as if they were ready to accept any competition at any time. They've been training hard for a long time, waiting to stand out one day. This is not only a competition, but also their affirmation of themselves. They want to see the result of their hard training. The scorching sun in the sky seems to be more brilliant. Sunshine poured on the barrack square. A touch of shadow has become a wonderful painting. The shadow is stubborn and unyielding, tenacious determination. In a short time, Gao Yu came to Yunwu with more than 20 capable generals and soldiers. Miss Nine, here you are. Yunwu looks back at Gao Yu. Lu Mei picks him lightly. Then he looks at the 20 or so people he brings. Everyone's face is respectful. It's obvious that he has seen the skill of Yunwu. In other words, who doesn't know Cloud Dance now in the whole military camp? The Cloud danced towards the 20-odd people. Then, a faint undercurrent passed through his indifferent eyes, and he spoke to the 20-odd people in a low voice. Each of you can choose by yourself, and the strongest soldiers you lead will come. Pick the best soldiers they can lead. The 20-odd people were stunned when they heard the speech. What do you mean? However, without waiting for the 20-odd people to doubt, Yunwu looked back at the 100 people in the queue, as if thinking of something in general, eyes slightly squint way. Wait a minute. Each of you choose 5 people as opponents. Point to the end. Yes, 100 people, without any doubt, cried out with one voice. At this time, listening to the dialogue between Yunwu and the 100 soldiers, the 20 people and Gao Yu were a little embarrassed. What do you mean? She wants them to bring the strongest soldiers to meet the 100 soldiers in front of her. 5 to 1? And let the 100 soldiers call them? They are the generals who have made great achievements in the war. Their strength is not bad, and the strength of the soldiers they personally lead is absolutely not so bad. She said she wanted them 5-on-1. Isn't that humiliating? Although they saw the strength of Yunwu with their own eyes and the ability and hard work of 100 soldiers, is it crazy to say that now? Gao Yu turned to look at more than 20 officers, and then at the 100 soldiers in the front line. He could not help frowning. But soon, the corners of his mouth showed a smile that taught those boys a good lesson. Good. After Gao Yu nodded and agreed, he immediately handed over his eyes to the 20 generals. What are you still waiting to do? To bring the soldiers you think you can, you have to give some young people to suffer losses to understand how deep the water in this world is. People can hear the implication. The other 20 officers could not help but look at each other, and then a fierce look of excitement flashed through their eyes. Yes, after more than 20 people nodded, they all tacitly waved to the soldiers on the other side and told them in a low voice. After that, the soldiers soon left for the camp. Yunwu naturally caught a glimpse of the expressions of the 20 generals of different classes, with a mysterious smile on the corners of his mouth. It's a mule. It's a horse. We have to compete to know. However, at this time, Cloud Dance suddenly raised her eyes and looked at the 100 soldiers in the line. Do you hear me? Now is the time to prove yourself. As for the depth of the water, wait until the time to receive it. Then he said, of course, this is a competition. The winner will be rewarded naturally. The winner will be rewarded with a pill, which is said to double his own strength. See Cloud Dance that words fall? The person on the scene instantly secretly took a cold breath. Double your strength? What kind of pill is this? Miss Nine. She, however, The eyes of the 100 soldiers at the scene lit up instantly, doubling their strength. For them, it was years of cultivation, and it also meant that they would go to a higher level. This time, in any case, we should go with all our strength. Although the reward is not from her, it's good to use it as a reward to motivate them. Looking at them one by one, their eyes are shining like wolves, and the corners of their mouths are covered with an imperceptible smile. If you want to quickly improve their strength for a period of time, naturally you need to spend some thoughts. At this time, I saw a lot of soldiers. Orderly began to gather from the square of the Forgeot dynasty. It seems that we can almost start. Cloud Dance also glanced at the 100 soldiers in front of her eyes. I don't have many pills, so I'll rely on your own strength to fight for them. I don't want one of them to waste my hard work so long. With the last sentence, Yunwu takes back her eyes and turns to leave the center of the square. She occasionally went to the edge of the square, sat down on a chair, and made a cup of tea for herself, enjoying the tea lazily. After Yunwu sat on the chair, Gao Yu naturally arranged for the competition to begin. As for how to arrange, Yunwu didn't care, just looked up at them from time to time. Eyes have been hanging meaningless smile, occasionally a flash of light, but also fleeting. 1 hour, 2 hours after more than 2 hours of competition, the game is almost over. The soldiers under the general, even 5-1, were defeated. In the end, Gao Yu and other 20 generals couldn't help going to the 1-on-5 fight in person. But in the end, they overestimated themselves and underestimated the 100 soldiers. Under the surprise and amazement of those generals, they began to lose. At the end of the day, there were 5 elite soldiers in Gao Yu. Cloud Dance mouth, slightly hook, a pair of enigmatic, very leisurely taste tea. Yunwu knew that all the 95 soldiers had spare strength in their hands, but because they were colleagues in the past, and because there was still iron discipline left in their bones, they could not hurt their teammates, so they won slowly. If it's the enemy, Cloud Dance's eyes skimmed a trace of color. Suddenly, some expectations. It's time for them to really work for her. At this time, on the other side, there were more than 20 wounded camp generals, all standing on one side with their teeth clenched, just to avoid being too embarrassed. On the other side, there are defeated soldiers whose faces are not right. In the end, the elite troops won. I saw that the elite soldiers, although they were all decorated, but the faces of the elite soldiers were expressionless, as if they could not feel any pain. Stand straight, eyes sharp, momentum strong. That kind of posture seems to be unable to penetrate the fierce. Inexplicably, let the other defeated soldiers feel some trembling and fear in their hearts. Mingming, not long ago, he was an ordinary soldier in the same camp. How could he become so powerful? So scary? Yes. It's terror, a sense of terror that rises from the bottom of my heart. The change of Yunwu's eyes on his soldiers' faces naturally was more or less in his eyes. But her face didn't change much. Still leisurely, like slightly hooked the corner of the mouth, looking at the last competition that is still going on. At this time, a man in a white robe came to Cloud Dance. Cloud Dance to see people, micro lift eyes of looking at the facial features of the upright man, mouth slightly a yawn. How do you feel? Cloud Dance makes Xiantian show a light smile and slightly pick eyebrows. Hear her words. Make Xian Day calm in the eyes of the sun, flit a glimmer of warmth. Instant fleeting, but did not escape the eyes of Cloud Dance. Cloud Dance tiny a drop Mao, low a smile, afterward lift Mao to glance at him, seemed to lead a still good. Ling Xuanshan looked at her. Calm eyes cannot say some complex. And then sat on the seat next to her, after a long time to look back at her, low voice. Thank you. Cloud Dance sneers and puts Mao Guang on the soldier who is competing with Gao Yu. Of the 5 soldiers, only one was still trying to compete with Gao Yu. You did it on purpose, didn't you? Let him play against Gao Yu. Ling Xuanchen also looked at the soldier, Qi Feng, looking back at Cloud Dance Road. Cloud Dance micro frown. The corner of the mouth is slightly a yawn. How to see? But from the beginning, she didn't even talk about the competition. She just ordered a word in advance. How could he know that she arranged it deliberately? He's the most gifted of 100, and I've found out. Make Xiande dynasty, she tiny smile, slightly point of looking at her. He found out. He didn't believe she didn't find out. Cloud Dance smell speech, mouth a yang, not in the mouth, and this is tantamount to default. Just in that pair of star eyes, a touch of deep, looking at that Qi Feng. Qi Feng's sharp eyesight, sharp action, a horizontal split, a clever dodge. Even Gao Yu could not hurt him at all. On the contrary, while dodging, he hit back at Gao Yu, but he was still a little at ease. Gao Yu saw that he could not hurt Qi Feng at all. On the contrary, he gradually fell down. He was surprised in his fierce eyes. In the past, when Qi Feng was in the army, although he did well in all aspects, he was still a long way from winning. Now he has only been trained for just over half a month. Has his strength increased so much? He had to be surprised. Cloud Dance looking at Gao Yu and Qi Feng. The corner of the mouth has been pulling, died with a cold smile. Since he can become a general of the Cloud family army, his own strength cannot be underestimated, and it is difficult for ordinary people to be his opponent. But as soon as she saw Qi Feng at the first sight, she felt that he was very talented, very savvy, and had a passion for martial arts. So relying on their own favorable conditions, constantly catching up, they were able to make a draw with Gao Yu, which surprised Yunwu a little bit. Although this confrontation, she did arrange Gao Yu for him. Originally, she just thought that Qi Feng could continue to work hard from the fight with Gao Yu, so that she would not lose too miserably. But I didn't expect they were tied. It seems that she made a mistake in her judgment. Cloud Dance watched the two fight more and more fierce. The air was filled with a trace of light blood. It seems that from the duel has become a duel in general. She got up and walked towards them. Her eyes were slightly drooping, passing a smile. Then she lifted her eyes and said coldly, "Okay, draw." Gao Yu couldn't help shaking his arm. His eyes looked at Qi Feng in surprise. Qi Feng just nodded quietly and turned back to the team. Seeing that Gao Yu and Qi Feng were injured to varying degrees, Cloud Dance's eyes flashed a touch of meditation, and it was not easy to notice that they were cold. She looked back at the other 4 who lost and said, "You for lost." As punishment, the training will be doubled in the next half-month. In addition, go to spread the array around the barracks, and let the people who should enter come in. Those who should not enter will never get out. After pondering the meaning of Yunwu's words, the 4 lost soldiers suddenly nodded respectfully. "Yes, Miss 9. Yunwu flicks his hand slightly to let them back down. They should have learned something about Ling Xuanshen's array and its arrangement. Array arrangement is a very important thing. She believes that people who have Ling Xuanshen's ability can not only see, but also use it. Yunwu takes back her eyes and looks back at the 20 officers and Gao Yu who are dealing with the small wound. She walks towards them and tears out a smile at the corner of her mouth. "I don't know, General Gao Yu. What do you think of this elite army now?" Cloud Dance glares at Gao Yu with cold eyes. Gao Yu's eyes were a little dodgy. The surprise in his eyes had not yet faded. He never thought that he would lose in the hands of an ordinary soldier. If it wasn't for Yunwu to call a draw in time, he would lose in a short time. I have to say that Miss Nine's training method is very effective. Gao Yu looks at Yunwu. It seems that it's difficult to say the following words. but Yunwu is waiting for him patiently at the moment. After pondering, Gao Yu finally raised his eyes to meet Cloud Dance's indifferent eyes, as if he had made a lot of determination. He sincerely bowed his head and said, "I feel inferior to you. Please train Miss Nine." Cloud Dance smell speech has been coagulating Gao Yu's eyes. Slightly a drop, the corner of the mouth raised a smile of satisfaction. It seems that this is her answer. "Well, I'll give the next training to the military division who will supervise you for me. If you can do it, give me complete obedience training. If you can't do it, quit as soon as possible, and I won't care. The leaders will take my words to your subordinates intact." Cloud Dance swept each leader one eye. See, they just Zheng ran of looking at her. Have no what objection. Think must be having in the contest just now of slow over spirit. Then withdraw vision to walk toward to make Xian sky. Cold and gorgeous, cold and bloodthirsty, arrogant and smart. This is the woman in purple, the rumored Waste 9 miss. Let them in the battlefield powerful Cloud Army, willing to surrender and determined. Ling Xuanshan looking at Cloud Dance. Jummusum don't understand. Don't want him to become the commander of 100 soldiers? Why didn't you announce it? Cloud Dance slightly pick eyebrow. Seemed to have some surprise. He actually know her idea. Suddenly, her mouth corners tightly pursed, looked back at a glance Chi Feng. He still lacks some qualitative. In the competition just now, she could see clearly. Chi Feng's face was full of awe-inspiring mania, and some of them were eager to win quickly. Although every move he took to avoid the attack was perfect, he was a bit competitive. Other people are to the point, in order not to hurt each other and delay the time to win, and he has been fighting for time to win. She doesn't know whether it's right or not. If Gao Yu is the enemy, he is right. But if the opponent of other players is also the enemy, they will solve the opponent more quickly. They will delay in order not to be hurt by mistake, because the opponent is their comrade in arms. Chi Feng didn't realize this. Therefore, she felt that he also needed to understand that between friends and enemies, there was not only a fight to win, but also an eternal nature that is friendship. Some people say that as a killer, you have to be cold and heartless. Only in this way can you be efficient. She does not deny that she teaches all the 10 assassins she trains. But these 100 people are a group, and they need to work hand in hand to complete the task together. Friendship is very important, especially for those who want to be leaders of 100 people. Make Xiande to see one-eye Chi breeze, seem to understand him nod. The hazy sky, a touch of gray, looming down, Cloud Dance looked up, eyes a squint. Give this pill to the elite soldiers, and the rest of the soldiers will be given to you for the time being. Cloud Dance looks at Make Xian sky, eyes warm smile, for him, like relatives in general. Make Xiande take over Black Box. The eyes don't understand of C to Cloud Dance. Don't personally give them reward. Cloud Dance mouth slightly a hook. You give is not better? Shintian calm eyes with a smile. Suddenly, his eyes across a tangle, looked at a cloud, seems to have something to say, but did not say. Say what you have. Yunwu glanced at him in a cold voice. Make Xiande, eyebrow you peep out a silk worry. Handsome mouth tiny a low. Grandfather. He will be okay? Yunwu seems to have known what he wanted to ask for a long time. Besides the old man, who else can make him so interested? Don't worry. He will be okay before you become strong. Yunwu's tone was affirmative, and there was no hesitation in her words. Make Xiande hear. The corner of the mouth raises a smile. That smile seems to light up the sky, gradually gloomy down dark. See the Cloud Dance slightly a zheng. It seems that he seldom smiles like this except for the old man. Gorgeous, quiet, and innocent. People need not be on guard. Cloud Dance didn't speak any more. Turned and left. Disappeared in the distant gray, dusky moonlight. Ling Xuanshan looked at the figure. Lonely and proud in the sky. Unspeakable cold. A trace of complex emotion emerged between the eyebrows. After leaving the army, Yunwu galloped all the way, intending to return to the inner college as soon as possible, flying over the half-slope of the cliff, and suddenly, a white shadow passed by. Yunwu was surprised. She just didn't think that someone would come to the cliff at this time. What's more, someone in the inner college could get to the foot of the mountain through the cliff. So her vigilance relaxed a little bit, just relaxed a little bit. That white, extremely fast residual shadow is passing in front of her. She just found out. You can imagine how fast the shadow is. Cloud Dance's eyes were stained with a touch of dark, flying in the air. She didn't smell each other's breath. Even just caught a residual shadow? She was shocked. Is there such a strong person in inner college now? As she pondered, a pair of big hands encircled her waist. She was suddenly surprised. Purple fighting spirits suddenly appeared, but suddenly disappeared in the next second. Dragon, it's fun to play with me, isn't it? The voice of Cloud Dance's slight anger carried through the whole cliff, circling and reverberating back and forth, which sounded a bit gloomy, like a ghost crying. When the purple air appeared, she smelled a familiar smell. The surprise in my heart is that it has disappeared, but it is replaced by a trace of anger. See Dragon Ching evil nest in her neck. A face dependence seems to rub her. In the moment, I felt a puff of numbness and goosebumps. Do you belong to the cat? The cloud danced to hang Mao to glance at the dragon of the neck to pour evil. Low roared him. This strange feeling is like a little stink on her neck. With unpleasant saliva, Long Qingxia lazily raised his eyes to her eyes, and the corners of his mouth raised a smug smile. I want to eat fishy. Cloud Dance. Shameless. When she met him, she couldn't fight and fight. She was beaten by his shamelessness every time. In the end, she could only call him shameless. Is it shameless to love me? Dragon Qingxia hugs her body tightly, and the hot breath charms her ears. There was no gap between them from head to foot. Their whole bodies were tightly bonded together. It seemed that they could feel each other's trembling and heartbeat clearly. Under the dark night, Yunwu's cheeks were red, and his overbearing and fanatical breath filled her ears, which made her extremely sober consciousness begin to blur and seemed to have a vague feeling. Suddenly, a hand at her chest. Yunwu feel body suddenly a cool, the whole consciousness suddenly awake, looking at the chest placket uneasy palm, face schwa black. Long Qingxia, give me your hand, be honest. A roar with a bone-chilling, once again from the implementation. Dragon inclined, evil eye on her shoulder. Eyes evil looking at her side face. The action on the hand has no honesty. Small steamed bread or small steamed bread. When can I eat it? Long Qingxia. Yunwu's face turned from black to red, a little stuttered and said, You are shameless. She was lucky that it was evening. Otherwise, if he saw this scene, it would be disgraceful to her grandmother's house. But she didn't know that those evil, lazy eyes, shining with light, had already seen the change of her face, and the corners of her mouth outlined a doting smile. This little thing is really lovely. Cloud Dance's slightly raised eyes, glanced at the top of the cliff, and found that there was no end to it. In the light of the eyes, he was suffering from anger and helplessness. How do you feel that the road back to inner college seems to be a long one after returning to the inner college? Yunwu finally used violence to get rid of the koala. They came to the college pavilion and sat down. The tranquil lake is full of starlight, occasionally rippling. The breeze blows slowly, with a touch of flower garden fragrance, and the treetops emit a deep friction. The night of the moon and stars, the seclusion of the quiet. I haven't seen you for a day. It's heartless of you to treat me like this as soon as we met. Long Qingxia sat on the stone, and a low voice of complaint broke the silence at the moment. He looked at the white teeth on his white arm, and the corners of his mouth were sketched slightly. Suddenly, the bottom of his eyes did not know why, and the smile on the corners of his mouth became more obvious. Yunwoo holds his arm and looks at the light and shadow in the lake. He glances at him, and his eyes show a sense of deserved. Suddenly, she seemed to think of something. She got up and went to Long Qingxie, sat on the stone bench beside him, glanced around, and then took out a book from the space. You see what this is? Yunwoo stares at the dragon and gives the book to him. Long Qingxie glanced at Yunwoo with pride. Evil came close to her face and said, "Now you know how important it is to be a husband?" "Yes, look, Cloud dance white, he one eye. This guy will not be able to suffocate." Long Qingxie put away the ruffian's evil eyes and looked at the book in his hand. When he saw the word Tianshu, a look of surprise flashed across the bottom of his eyes. Then he returned to the past and opened the Tianshu to see. Cloud Dance saw the surprise. When he saw that the Book of Heaven was full of white paper, he didn't seem surprised at all, as if he had known that it was white paper. When Yunwoo saw that the Book of Heaven was completely white, there was a trace of darkness in her eyes. As long as it's a Book of Heaven, it's only white paper when you open it. Is this the case with modern TV dramas? And it's the same with other countries? Cloud Dance slightly frown, the radiant of the corner of the mouth slightly pulled down. It's over. There's nothing. With a lazy smile, Long Qingxie raised his hand and handed the book to her. Cloud Dance took the Book of Heaven, white as one eye, put the Book of Heaven back into space. Ring Wei, what's the secret in this Book of Heaven? Hearing her words, the corners of the dragon's mouth, intentionally or unintentionally, were just for a moment. Do you really want to know? Long Qingxie looked at her cold and gorgeous face, and the smile at the corner of her mouth came down. Her thin lips seemed to be covered with a layer of dark frost. Yunwoo stares at Dragon Qingxie. His eyes are slightly narrowed. This man seldom shows this kind of expression, but if he shows this kind of expression, it means that the secret must be very surprising. Think, Cloud Dance want to know the secret of the Book of Heaven Heart. More and more excited. Toward the dragon inclined evil positive nod. Want to know? Long Qingxie looked at her face and pondered for a while. His eyes were deep, and the corners of his mouth wriggled. 10 kisses for the secret of the Book of Heaven. Yunwoo watched him wriggle around the corner of his mouth. An excited heart was hanging on the peak, waiting for the secret of Dragon's evil spirit to come out and put his heart down. Unexpectedly, he said something that made her want to strangle him. A heart hanging in the air suddenly falls from heaven to hell. The secret of the Book of Heaven and 10 kisses. Why is the difference so big? Long Qingxie looks at her with a dull appearance, and an evil smile is outlined in the corner of his mouth. The deep smile in his eyes turns into a banter smile, as if the deep is just a trick he needs to tease her. Long Qingxie, do you believe I sewed your mouth? Cloud Dance angrily rebukes the figure that he leaves. This guy is deceiving people too much. Play with her again. Long Qingxie walked with a smile in his eyes and a smile in his mouth. He hooked his fingers to her and motioned her to follow. Cloud Dance looked at his figure. Eyes a convergence, a touch of relief swept by. He didn't want to tell her that he had his reasons, so she was fooled. When he wanted to tell her in the future, he said it naturally. But now what she wants to do is sew the man's mouth. Not for anything else, just for the cheap mouth. The moon was dim and shining. They ran after each other and disappeared under the stars. In the distance, a black figure appeared and watched them chase away. Their eyes were creepy, and their thin and white faces were filled with anger, which sent out the breath of darkness and suffocation. In the early morning, Yunwoo was ready to go back to the class, but on the way back to the class, he met 2 people fighting and stopped to watch for a while. Cloud Dance looks at the 2 people who fight each other, and an undercurrent emerges in the star eyes. They have blue level talent, at the same time, a peak of level 7 and an initial stage of level 8. Although there is a difference of 1 level, their strength is almost the same. The man with the blue sword cut through the sky. The sword, with its blue fighting spirit, chopped the man's head in the air. And the man holding the blue sword, looking at the hazy shadow of the blue sword cutting through the air on his head, slightly frowned, stepped back a few steps in an instant, leaped up in the air, stepped on the roaring blue sword, and rose higher than the blue sword man. At the moment when his body was running in mid-air, the blue fighting spirit suddenly attacked the blue sword man. The blue sword man also used the same purple fighting spirit to defend himself. The two fighting spirits collided, and they all stepped back. In the after effect of the collision of fighting spirit attacks Yunwu, who is not far away from the opera. As soon as the eyes of Yunwu are cold, the purple fighting spirit comes out, and the after effect turns into nothing. The whole movement is coherent and agile, and it's only a blink of an eye. The two people looked at the action of Cloud Dance, with a touch of surprise in their eyes, and looked at each other at the same time. Cloud Dance, a see good play finished. Eyes no longer nostalgia, get up and ready to leave. Well, are you a freshman in the college? Yi Yu, holding the blue sword, looks at the Cloud Dance that turns around and leaves and calls her. Cloud Dance stops. Indifferent eyes glanced at the knight behind you, slightly jawhead. Originally, she didn't want to talk to them, but out of politeness, when did the word politeness ever appear in her dictionary? It's fun to be a freshman with purple talent. Xianshan, holding a blue sword, looks at Yunwu with interest. In the college, there are few people with purple talent, and this freshman actually has purple talent. Is that the reason why he went out to practice for so long and didn't follow up the college news? Or is there a lot of purple talent in the college now? Cloud Dance glances at Xianshan one eye. Indifferent eyes pass a trace of impatience. She most annoys others to look at her with a kind of eyes. Who are you? Cloud Dance looks back at the Night Yu, who is not disgusted, and asks coldly. That sentence, as if with invisible cold, let Night Yu back a cool. We are the students of the last term. We just came back from training and participated in the promotion competition. Without waiting for Yayo to speak, Xianshan answers Yunwu's question first. Cloud Dance take back this still put on Night Yu face of vision. She also didn't see Xianshan one eye. I know she want to know a problem. She turned and left. Unconsciously, there are still 10 days left before the day of the promotion competition. The last class of students who went out for training began to come back one after another, just to stand out in the promotion competition and participate in the Three Kingdoms competition on behalf of the King of God Warrior Academy. It can be seen that the talents of those students who come back to participate in the competition are very good. After 1 year's experience, they should not be underestimated, right? Cloud Dance lips pursed a sneer. To promotion competition began to look forward to. Yun Xinger is also a student of the inner school of Shinwang Samurai Academy. She won't miss this promotion contest. Cloud Dance eyes show a cold smile, mouth bloodthirsty like outline. Xianshan looks at the back of Yunwu leaving. His arrogant eyes are too dark. How many women can't let him have a look? She didn't even look at him. This frustrated his self-confidence, which he was always proud of. It felt like trampling on his dignity. His scarred fingers clenched into a fist. And Yayo, who has always been calm, looks at the shadow of the Cloud Dance disappearing and thinks a little. Then he takes back his eyes, glances at the angry Xianshan, and leaves without saying a word. They go to college together, practice together, and experience together. They are enemies formed naturally when they meet each other. Until now, they are still tied and enemies. Cloud Dance in the class, after the only way, actually saw a scene to make her eyes tongue-tied picture. A girl student, holding a letter, looks at Nangong Yi with a blushing face. Cloud Dance's first reaction is, in confession, but how does it seem that Nangong he doesn't care about the girl student who has been talking all the time. Cloud Dance raises a bad smile from the corner of his mouth, pretends to go to the class as if nothing had happened, and suddenly turns back to the calm and indifferent eyes of Shangnan Palace. What a coincidence. Yunwu walked towards him, but his eyes kept glancing at the girl student with the letter in her hand, thinking carefully. Nangong E low eyes smile. Warm alcohol, such as wind voice way. Go to class? Cloud Dance nods, all the way looking at the girl student, sitting in the South Palace opposite, eyes doubt and cunning asked, She is? Nangong E glanced at the girl student calmly, then looked at Yunwu with a smile. A stranger in a class. His words make that girl student slightly alung. Holding the letter finger pan white, a pair of water eyes and tears, is about to overflow. Suddenly, the girl student dropped the letter and ran away abruptly, one arm wiping tears, and soon disappeared in their sight. Cloud Dance takes back the line of sight. Looking back at Nangonji, who is still smiling like a god, the color of her eyes changes and says, As for it, Nangong E drooped his eyes slightly, and the corners of his mouth continued to smile. He said coolly and gently, I have a goal to follow in my life, so everything else is superfluous except the one I want to follow. His words, just like the stranger just said, are as cold and unfeeling as ice, with a smile. How could she forget that there was a cold and heartless breath in his bones, which was just covered up by his calm and indifferent breath? Naturally, no one would find it, and no one would touch it intentionally. They are the same people, so they can understand what each other is thinking, just like she and the dragon. Yunwu had a noon class, but he didn't see Long Qingxie come to her until afternoon. He couldn't help wondering why this guy is so quiet today. It seems that it has become a habit to see him every day, but it seems that I am not used to it if I don't see him every day. But every time I see him, I don't know what I can do. Cloud Dance spirit power. Patrol oneself all around. Didn't find Long Qing evil to hide in the dark place. The Mao light flits a silk to lose. When she returned to the dormitory, she found that Long Qingxie was waiting for her in front of the dormitory. She just that instant lost feeling after seeing him suddenly disappeared. What did you do? Yunwu walks to Long Qingxie and looks at his messy silver hair and muddy white clothes. There is a trace of incomprehension in his eyes. Did he get robbed? How can such a mess? Some can't bear to look directly at it. Long Qingxie just smiles at her, opens his chest, looks at her with praying eyes, and looks at her with pure eyes like a child. At this moment, Yunwu's refusal rose in his heart. When he saw his praying eyes, he couldn't bear to refuse. Cloud Dance mouth a hook, go to his side, and then turn around, open arms, looking back at the dragon, evil one eye. Catch-ah! As soon as the corner of Dragon's mouth was raised, a trace of emotion passed through the bottom of his eyes. The woman was giving him a surprise again, but he nodded quickly. Yunwu takes a deep breath, raises her eyes, looks at the blue sky, slightly closes her star eyes, and feels the moment when her whole body is relaxed. She falls back and falls rapidly with her body. The next second, she was surrounded by a warm and safe embrace. How are you doing with your husband? The dragon inclined evil to beg reward, seemed to get evil spirit to smile. Baji pecked on her cheek. Cloud Dance white eyes, looking at his messy silver hair and some wrinkled clothes on his body, slightly frowning. What are you doing? It was hard for her to imagine what could make him deal with such a mess. Long Qingxie just looked at the Cloud Dance in his arms and didn't answer her question, but she smelled a bloody smell on him. The Cloud dances. The Mao light passes a touch of forest cold. The warmth of the corner of the mouth also instantly condenses. Suddenly, she rolled open his sleeve. The scene that came into her eyes made her slightly surprised. The teeth she bit on his arm were bloody, with a pungent smell of blood and carrion. She was shocked that the wound had not healed. She just bit out some blood. With his own healing ability, she should be able to heal in a short time. Why is the wound still purulent and rotten? What's going on? Cloud Dance raises Mao to look at Dragon to pour evil. Mao sun inside die frost cold idea, corner of mouth also cold lie. This time she had to hear a reasonable explanation. An explanation for her to believe. Long Qingxia glanced at the wound on his arm, gave him an evil smile, shrugged his shoulders and said, "It's better after today." Cloud Dance eyes dark, a pair of cold eyes, not a moment staring at him. I want to listen to the truth. She's not going to let him fool her this time. Dragon Qing, evil, helpless touch her long hair, black eyes across a smile. This little thing stubborn up, he really can't beat her. I wanted to leave your mark on my body, so I took some animal blood and let my skin fester. At last, I was affected by its flame. Dragon Qing Xie's mouth outlines a very proud smile. He looks at the wound on his arm with deep eyes and full of smile. The Cloud Dance hears Zheng Ran of looking at him. What the eyes inside flit over is the complexities of facial expression. In the heart is like 5-flavor miscellaneous bottle. After a long time, just looked at him. Light scold away, fool. Dragon Qing Xie is just the corner of evil spirit's mouth. He reaches out his hand and knocks on her head with a light, explosive chestnut. For husband, fool. Aren't you a fool's daughter-in-law? Cloud Dance still dark heavy looking at his wound. Phoenix Mao am I? Icy cold way. That beast where? She had to cut it. What's the matter? Do you want to teach it for your husband? Dragon Qing Xie Mao bottom smile voice. Looking at her cold face, laugh voice. This woman always give him accident. Can't you? Cloud Dance slightly raises Mao. Mao Guang a silk chilly flash. Unexpectedly make the person of my cover so embarrassed. Do you have to go? The smile in Long Qing's evil eyes is full, but she has already confirmed that she must go. The Hualien beast grew up on the volcano in the east of the Zhou dynasty and Longshu kingdom. His blood was like red, rolling magma, and all the places where it flowed were burned up. This was the only end of the whole mainland of China. Hualien beast's blood and his blood are extremely repulsive. The two blood fuse. With only one drop of Hualien beast's blood, the repulsion can break the wound that he healed automatically. This is also a monster he found occasionally when he went to the volcano. He wanted to kill it at that time, but in a second he thought it would be useful to keep it, so he didn't do it. This time he went to get blood, just because Hualien beast was angry. The flame let him get a little affected. I have to go. Yunwu's attitude is firm. Her eyes are dark and cold. She dares to make her people so embarrassed and affect her beauty. She must teach the wild beast a lesson. Let it know that it's not good at spitting fire. And there's a real fire dragon. With a smile in his mouth, Long Qingxie put his head on her shoulder and said, "It's nice to be protected." Yunwu's face suddenly turned black. He pushed away his head, gave him a white look, and stood up from his arms. Who said that he was protecting you? I just want to teach that beast a lesson. Who let it rely on the ability to spit fire unbridled. This is not despise the ancestors of fire. Long Qingxie looked at her face and stood up. He said, "Yes, the ancestor of fire is here." He dares to despise the ancestor of fire. Damn it. Go and kill it. Cloud Dance. Looking at the big hand and arm that led her to walk, there was a row of neat and festering teeth marks, and a deep look passed in her eyes. What kind of animal is that? Its blood can destroy the wound of dragon. Even his self-healing ability can't recover the rotten and missing flesh. Such a threat must not exist. Although I don't know why he didn't kill it, it doesn't mean she won't kill it. She can't let the weakness of dragon's evil spirit live in the world. Except for her, of course it's just that Long Qingxie didn't make it clear. The animal blood can only hurt him this time. If he is reborn again, the wound will be shed together. That's why he kept the beast. As for why the little thing behind him had to kill it, he could guess a few points. But since she really wants to kill her, it doesn't matter. When they left, Zhou Feiyu happened to come to the dormitory to look for Yunwu, but he found a shadow that disappeared at the corner. His eyebrows frowned, and his eyes narrowed slightly. Long Qingxie and Yunwu gallop all the way. Yunwu doesn't want to move anymore. He closes his eyes slightly and listens to the sound of hissing across the air. The cool air attacks his whole body. But the dragon's evil circle in his arms is extremely warm. Yunwu closes his eyes, and the corners of his mouth are slightly crooked, revealing an imperceptible smile. But the dragon Qingxie saw. A trace did not fall to sea. That's what a woman should do. Only then can a man be useful. The voice of Dragon's deep, evil spirit rings from Cloud Dance's ear. His voice, full of magnetism, fell into her ears through the wind. It was as beautiful as rhythm. Cloud Dance slightly raised his mouth, glanced at him one eye. Besides this, still have what use? Long Qingxie nodded and drew an evil smile at the corner of his mouth. Yunwu just saw his smile, and his face changed instantly. Accompany ambiguous. Let enjoy. Package warm bed. More important is to make every effort to package satisfaction. Long Qingxie looked at her. Hot eyes had been wandering back and forth in front of her chest. Cloud Dance. Shameless. She took a stone and hit herself in the foot again. All of a sudden, Yunwu seems to clearly understand a truth. She always loses when she hits him, but it's easy to beat him. She just needs to keep up with his rhythm and surpass his rhythm, provided that she is more shameless than him suddenly. Her eyes darkened, and she always felt that it was impossible to surpass him. Shameless work. She really can't learn. They galloped all the way and soon came to the volcano. Cloud Dance looks at this volcano, which is engraved in the eye at a glance. With a squint of eyes. Is it such a small volcano? With a smile in his mouth, Long Qingxie seemed to see her doubts. The reason why this place is called a volcano is not because the mountain itself is a volcano, but because of the fire beast in it. Oh! Cloud Dance slightly pick eyebrows. Although the mountain is not as big as she imagined, the fire beast can make the whole mountain have such a strong, burning feeling. So the beast itself must have a high level. Dragon Qing Evil Circle Cloud Dance Waste. Will fall in a volcano corner. Cloud Dance just stand firm. Feel some hot. That kind of dry, burning feeling makes her very uncomfortable. Looking around, the whole mountain exudes beautiful heat, without a trace of green. The trees on the mountain are dry, and the cracks are ferocious. Other living plants have now become dry corpses. No wonder it's called volcano. It's just a volcano that only gives off heat and doesn't really spew fire. Under the leadership of Long Qingxie, Yunwu walks all the way. The more you walk into it, the more you can feel the burning feeling deepening. She slightly frowns. The eye light flits over a trace irritability. This damn place. Until he came to the fire beast cave, Yunwu felt the burning crack feeling stronger. However, the strange heat can make her feel uncomfortable and irritable. It's weird. Looking back at the dragon, Cloud Dance suddenly sighs. Before he saw the fire beast, he was turned into a roast pig by the high temperature around him. But when this man met the fire from the fire beast, he was only affected by a small wound. What ability does this man have? I don't know. When she meets the strange high-temperature flame in the air, will she disguise herself as black charcoal? The fire beast cave is more than one person high, with hazy gas all around. The walls of the cave are smooth and shiny, and occasionally a strange roar can be heard. Hiss! A hysterical roar erupted from the cave, and the clouds seemed to feel a fierce wind and fire coming. In an instant, they jumped out of the cave. I'm afraid it's impossible to enter this cave. Dragon Qingxia shrugs, some helplessly looking at the clouds, but the dark awe is in the bottom of his eyes. When he came, the fire beast was looking for food, so he didn't need to go into the cave to get the fire beast blood. But even if it was in the cave, it was very simple to want it to come out. But with this little thing, let her try it. He'd just be a little man behind her. Yunwu raised her eyes and glanced at him. Then she looked at the cave mouth. A cold smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. We can't get in. Isn't it easy to let him out? She went into the cave and looked out of sight, just like the other end of the abyss. She saw the sharp edge flash by, and suddenly a cool wind roared. Green wind elements continued to grow, like a dragon, full 3 meters long. Strong wind inside the cave roaring, the whole cave suddenly strange. Suddenly, the cloud dance turned hard, and the wind element, like a runaway, broke through all the obstacles, cut through the hot air, and went straight into the depths of the cave. The cloud dances. The Mao Guang is a mi. The corner of the mouth is dyed with a trace of demonic sneer. Instantly the figure is swept, then disappeared in the cave. Just after she pulled out of the cave, there was an overwhelming roar, and soon a rush of owl dust rolled out of the cave, followed by a tearing roar. Cloud Dance looked at the diffuse fire and the sound of approaching. The smile of the corner of the mouth has been pulling, looking back at the dragon Qingxia around, slightly picking eyebrows. They looked at each other with a smile. The shadow passed by, and they withdrew from the cave more than 10 meters away. After a while, a huge shadow appeared at the entrance of the cave. Yunwu saw the shadow, and his eyes narrowed slightly. How big is the volume of the fire beast? Suddenly, the fire beast came out of the cave, with its angry roar and ferocious tusks, and raised to the sky for a long roar. Suddenly, the clouds seemed to be burning in the air, scarlet. All of a sudden, the withered trees fell down, and the whole volcano trembled. I pissed it off? Cloud Dance Mao light a cold. Looking at fire beast from afar, she can feel the anger that it sends out on the body. Long Qingxia just raised his lips and looked at the fire beast with no abnormal expression. It is not really angry. When he is really angry, the flames will burn these dry trees to ashes, and the whole volcano will be barren. The cloud dances and condenses the fire beast. His eyes are a little surprised. The volume of the fire beast is 1.5 people high. His body is emitting red fire. His back is like a camel. He's in the shape of a mountain. You can see the rough skin on his body. A pair of beast eyes were glowing with anger and looked around like a scout. When he saw the dragon's evil, his anger was more obvious. It seems that Dragon Qingxia just came here this morning and took its blood. Its anger has not yet subsided. It will come again, a bit like deliberately provoking it. The fire beast's eyes rubbed and angrily looked at the dragon's evil, and leisurely looked at the cloud dance around the dragon's evil. All the time, his mouth suddenly closed, as if he was brewing something. The cloud dances, the eyes are cold, and the corners of the mouth are dyed with a bloodthirsty smile. What a 7-level beast! He wants to attack them quietly. Cloud Dance glanced at Dragon Qingxia, who immediately stepped back with a smile. Suddenly, a round pillar of fire came out of the fire beast's mouth and came straight to Yunwu's head. All of a sudden, the air was stained with a flush. The cloud dances the eye sun of frost, plating on one to put on a blaze red. The corner of the mouth outlines one to put on extremely cool and gorgeous smile. The palm turns, and a flame appears in the palm. It's as real as the fire beast. The flame of the palm gradually becomes bigger and bigger, and finally turns into a clearly visible fire dragon, occupying the top of the cloud dance. At the moment when the pillar of fire approaches, the cloud dance urges the fire dragon. The fire dragon opens its mouth and rushes to the pillar of fire. The pillar of fire is swallowed by the fire dragon at the fastest speed. At the moment when the cloud dance urged the fire dragon to move, the wind element wrapped the body and instantly withdrew more than 10 meters. The two flames in the red half of the sky are eroding each other, and the fire beast is burning fiercely. On the other hand, Yunwu and Longqingxi feel a little uncomfortable. Cloud Dance watched the fire dragon swallow the pillar of fire completely. The corner of his mouth outlined slightly, and his eyes looked at the fire beast opposite. The fire beast watched his own flame devoured by the fire dragon. His burning eyes were frightened. Then he looked at the cloud dance and roared up to the sky. The sound of the fire beast tearing was tearing in Yunwu's ear, which made her frown slightly, and her eardrum was almost broken. Suddenly, the fire beast seemed to be annoyed, and the domineering figure rushed towards the cloud dance in an instant. His eyes were angry and ferocious, as if he didn't tear up the cloud dance. This time, without waiting for Yunwu to say anything, Longqingxi turned away. Standing under a big tree in the distance, he leans lazily on it and looks at the cloud dancing against the fire beast with a smile in his mouth. Feel the dragon leave, cloud dance mouth stained with a smile. Then he raised his eyes and looked coldly at the fire beast with a bloody sneer. Suddenly, a touch of purple shadow disappeared instantly. Just before the fire beast was surprised, a green light appeared on its back and came down from the sky. You could see a purple shadow in it, holding a flaming fist, waiting for the fire beast to escape and hit. Whoa! Tearing sounds suddenly carried through the forest. The cloud dance gathers the elements of wind and fire and looks at the painful fire beast with cold eyes. There is a trace of surprise in the fundus of the eye, and it disappears in the twinkling of an eye. He glanced at his right hand, and it turned red. It was burned by the fire beast's flame that blow. She clearly heard the sound of the fire beast's spine fracture, but at the same time, she also felt a burning sensation on her hand. It seems that the fire on the fire beast is really unusual. Longqingxi glanced at her red right hand. The light of her eyes was a little dark. Then he regained his lazy look and looked at the fire beast. It was a cold light under his laziness. Yunwu feels a cold look on the right side, frowns slightly, and looks at the fire beast's eyes. It seems that this guy must be solved as soon as possible at this time. The fire beast also rekindled the fighting ability, a pair of ferocious eyes staring at the clouds. Cloud Dance looks at fire beast to stare big eyes. Mao light flits over a cold on. Eyes stare again big also is useless. Suddenly, the flame in Yunwu's palm burned again, and he drew up a fire dragon to attack the fire beast. Then dozens of sharp wooden swords followed the fire dragon. Finally, the awe-inspiring purple figure followed the wooden sword. The fire beast looked at the three shadows coming from the front and back, roared, and spurted out a pillar of fire to fight against the fire dragon. At that moment, the wooden sword swept in front of her with lightning speed. The fire beast dodged quickly, but still got two swords. The cloud dances the Mao Guang to narrow. Looking at the wood sword on the fire beast's body, Mao Guang a cold, probably because its skin is too rough. The wood sword only inserts a finger deep. Cloud dance Mao Guang a cold, abruptly withdraw to want to attack fire beast head of fist, open palm, a touch of purple fight air attack to wood sword. With the sound of the wooden sword stabbing into the skin, the wooden sword suddenly disappeared after a circle of rotation in its body. The fire beast's abdomen was dripping with blood, and the cloud danced in the air, hitting the fire beast's wound. Blood instantly dyed purple. The shock of the purple fighting spirit made the fire beast's mouth twitch and shed blood. With a bang, the dust was flying. The fire beast fell to the ground with painful convulsions. Yunwu looks at the bloody wound of the fire beast. His eyes reflect the blood, like the scarlet flower blooming in the pool of blood, and the corner of his mouth is full of bloodthirsty radiance. 3 strikes will kill. Long Qingxia looks at the clouds and makes a perfect attack. He looks at the bloody fire beast falling on the ground with a look of meditation. Take some animal blood. This fire animal blood belongs to the highest yang. It will always be used if you keep it. Long Qingxia walks back to Yunwu, glances at the fire beast on the ground, and looks back at Yunwu Road. Cloud, dance Mao light a low, seem to be thinking about what, then lift Mao Wei. This blood can restrain extremely cold body. The dragon tilts evil to pick eyebrow to nod. Is exactly the thing of restraint how. Cloud dance slightly jaw head, a trace of regret in the eyes. Then he shakes his head, takes out a jade bottle into space, walks into the fire beast, and puts the jade bottle on the fire beast wound until it is full. Dragon Qing evil low Mao a smile. The corner of the mouth appears a smile of meditation. Where is the body of the fire beast? Cloud dance glances at the fire beast and raises her eyes to the dragon. Long Qingxia looks at her thief smiling eyes and picks her eyebrows. There is a helpless smile at the corner of her mouth. You can dig a hole for it. Yunwu's face suddenly changed and he glared at the dragon. Trouble. Then he turned and left the volcano. Long Qingxia looked at her figure and sighed. He looked back at the fire beast. Its blood flowed through the cratered volcano to those dry roots, which seemed to give them a touch of vitality. A few days later, all the students who went out for training in the college have come back in order to participate in the promotion competition, and there are only 2 days left from the promotion competition. Today, Yunwu comes to Tulong Pavilion again. The secret of Tulong Pavilion has been bothering and attracting her. There are secrets in my heart that I don't know. I'm tired of what I eat and what I do. There is no doubt that she is hiding in again, but was also found by the break wind. It's not so much that she was found by Cha Feng as that she deliberately let Cha Feng find her. Why are you here again? Break wind, double eyebrow or wrinkly. Mao Guangpan is cold. A pair of dark Mao Sun vigilant stare at Cloud Dance. Because no one can stop me. Cloud Dance seems to have some helpless said a word. Cha Feng glances at her coldly. When she left that day, he only saw a vague shadow. Her martial arts skills should be among the best in the college. The old man outside can't see her. And she's normal. What are you doing here this time? Break wind put away vigilant eyes, looking at Cloud Dance said. Since he knew that no one could stop her, it was useless for him to be on guard. To teach you how to improve your martial arts. Cloud danced the corner of mouth Yang, looking at break breeze. Mao light flits over his silk to calculate. Cha Feng listened. Tiny as Zheng, Mu ran of looking at her long way. Why? Because I like you, she said simply and rudely. His lung is in the second Zheng ran. Mao Guang inside emerged a touch of meditation. He raises Mao to see her way. What purpose? Isn't the purpose that I like you? The cloud dances. The eye light is hidden. The corner of the mouth is sketching a mysterious smile. Only a fool can tell his true purpose. Right? I mean, what do you want? Cha Feng looks at Yunwu doubtfully. He doesn't believe that there will be warm-hearted people in the world for no reason. Cloud dance micro-frown in the heart thought, this person vigilance heart is really strong. No wonder we'll be in this guard Tulong Pavilion. Thinking about it, Yunwu took out the Yunwu version advanced martial arts book from the space and gave it to Cha Feng. This is an advanced martial arts book. You can see it and learn it. It's very helpful for your self-cultivation. Cloud Dance looks at the break wind. The eye light has been flickering and confused, as if the mind is not on it at all. As a result of Cha Feng's suspicions, the advanced martial arts book is really about martial arts gradually. It's also the advanced martial arts book in Kangwu Pavilion. Although it's only a part, it's enough. He suddenly brightened his eyes and looked at Yunwu in surprise. How can you have? Tulong Pavilion can't defend me. Do you think Zhongwu Pavilion can defend me? Before he could finish stammering, Yunwu's cold voice interrupted him. Cha Feng's face suddenly turned black, and an idea crossed his mind. High skill is good? Seeing the joy of getting the most precious treasure on Cha Feng's face, Yinwu's mouth is tickled. He has a good talent, although he doesn't know why he works as a secret guard in this uninhabited Tulong pavilion. With the help of this advanced martial arts book, he will be powerful in the future. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.